everyone, and welcome to Film Geek Time Machine. I'm your host, Austin Kennedy.
Hi, Austin Kennedy. I'm Tim Kaiser.
Oh, you're my co-host.
Yes. No, I'm the star. Fuck you.
we are the hosts together.
We are
Yes.
we are cooperative hosting.
Yes. And this is the podcast where what happens when you give a film geek a time machine. Well, I'm just going to go back in time and watch random movies. We pick a random date, usually, and we look at the newspaper and we actually look at the times and actually pick movies to see all day, a big marathon of movies.
And this is the part where I make a joke where we didn't tell anybody about when Pearl Harbor was going to happen, or how to stop World War II. But no, we just went back to watch 1939 black and white movies.
Well, we don't want to cause a paradox. It's like
we're going to cause a paradox. We're giving them cash money that probably says 2010 on it. Okay.
So this week we picked June 11th, 1939. That's what we went back. This is the furthest date that we went back in
This
time.
is 80, almost over 80 years ago now.
Yeah.
80. It's nuts.
Yeah.
I think the time machine, I think you told me this before, right?
Yeah.
Completely canon.
Yeah.
The time machine, it has a hard time going past 80. It has a hard time getting into the 30s. It has nothing to do with the fact that some of these movies have disappeared in 80 years.
Yeah, but 1939, it was actually a pretty good year for movies. That was the year.
It's a very important year for movies.
That was the year that Wizard of Oz came out, Gone with the Wind, and
those two. I'm trying to think. Did Disney put out an animated one in that year? Was that like Pinocchio or something?
No, that was 40. But
when was Fantasia?
That was 40 as well.
Oh, okay.
But Max Fleischer, they released their answer to Snow White, which was Gulliver's Travels. It was animated film.
I remember seeing that when I was a kid.
I have that. Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
It's not bad.
So yeah. Oh yeah. Well, let's look up the newspaper. I forgot to do this. We got to type in the newspaper here to see.
We got to look at stuff. I mean,
well, I want to tell everyone to know what we didn't watch.
Yeah, the movies we didn't get around to. So okay, everybody, we're gonna maybe edit this part out. We'll see.
Yeah, I have to look it up here. Okay, 1939. There we go. June 11th. Yeah. It was a Sunday.
That's right. This is June, but we could not do a drive-in because they don't seem to do.
No. Drive-ins didn't exist. That would actually be something that we could. Too bad we didn't have
we
like
need
an
to figure
internet.
Out when drive-in started.
Go
back to like the first time when.
That actually, I actually think that would be good. Now,
also, I mean, this entire season we have nothing in the 40s. Next season, we need to get like 3 times.
We will do.
I want to see movies that came out in the middle of World War II.
Yeah,
see stuff like that.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that this time. Next time. So here we go. I'm looking at the papers. We have Invitation to Happiness, calling Dr. Kilgare.
Okay, I've heard of one of those.
Deanna Durbin. I don't know if
that's right. This other version of Some Like It Hot
with Bob Hope and Gene Krupa and Shirley Ross. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Deanna Durbin, but Deanna Durbin was a pretty popular star in the late 30s.
I'll take your word for it.
And
I don't remember her at all. That's right. This one had Fred McMurray, and we both seem to be strangely fans of Fred McMurray, but we didn't watch it.
Which one? Oh, the Invitation to Happiness. Yeah. But yeah, Deanna Durbin had 3 Smart Girls Grow Up, which was a sequel to 3 Smart Girls.
What?
3 Smart Girls Grow
Up. A movie that's a sequel to a different movie that I've never heard of.
Yeah, 3 Smart Girls came out in 36, was nominated for Best Picture. And then Leslie Howard in Pygmalion. We didn't see Love Affair, which was nominated for Best Picture. We didn't watch that.
Yeah.
Topper Takes a Trip, which was a whole series.
This is the heart of the studio system. Shit tons of movies come out.
Oh yeah. Well, this is
stupid about they put out, each studio puts like a movie a week out.
Yeah. Well, the classic Hollywood was like it was kind of like an assembly line. What it was like, okay, you had the scripts and you had the editing. And so I just got back from Los Angeles. I went and did studio tours. And I was on the Paramount lot, and they talked about that. Like, in this building over here, that's where the scripts were. And then in this building, they sent it to producers. And then in this building, they sent it. So
they had a system.
It was pretty neat. Yeah, they were just shitting out movies. It was. And then you bring it to the editor. And then the editor edits the movie. And then you bring it to... So it was just like a big assembly line of movies. And that's why... like some directors were making like 3 or 4 movies a year.
Some of these movies are edited a lot better than others.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else worth noting, but not really.
Another one. That was Gunga Din. Never mind. That's one of the movies we saw.
Oh, Charles Laughton and the Beachcomber, which I wouldn't have mind watching because I really like Charles Laughton, but we didn't get a chance to watch it. So
Cary Grant and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. and a third guy whose name I can't remember.
Victor McLaughlin.
Whatever.
So he won Best Actor in 1935 for The Informer. Yeah, and he was in a lot of John Wayne movies.
That's a spoiler. That's like 4 movies in. That's literally the 5th movie. Never mind. That's 6th movie.
Sixth movie.
We're going to talk about that in an hour and a half.
So we actually worked it out. We looked at the times, and we actually got to see 7 movies when we went back in time to 1939.
Without a drive-in.
Yeah.
Which usually is how we can weasel 2 movies in because we're there till 3 in the morning.
Right.
But no.
It was crazy. So 9:45 was the first screening, and 11:30 p.m. was the last screening of the movie. So that was pretty crazy. And on a Sunday,
we totally went there and watched them all on the same day.
We did.
It totally happened.
Totally happened. So the first movie, we did MAYERLING, which this is the only movie that or at least for me, I had no idea what this movie was. MAYERLING.
I also had no idea. Let me see here. Of these movies, I had no idea what, 4 of them were going to be at all.
Well, so MAYERLING was, I've never even heard of this movie, and the only reason, and usually, so we pick the movies, I'll pick 2 or 3, and then Tim will pick 2 or 3, and this one we kind of both agreed, because that was the only movie that started at 9:45.
It's our first foreign language film.
Yeah, it's French.
It's
movie.
French, but it takes place in Austria.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they're speaking French.
So it's French, and then maybe, I don't know. So, but it sounded French to me. Yeah.
It's French.
We did MAYERLING. Then we picked The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn with Mickey Rooney as Huckleberry Finn. It's a Wonderful World at
different. It's a Wonderful blank movie.
Yeah, with James Stewart.
With Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah. And then Broadway Serenade with Jeanette MacDonald, which I'm not too familiar with. Dead End, which has in a co-starring role Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah, it's weird. Okay, Bogart's in 2 of these movies, and he is not really the lead.
He wasn't a superstar yet at this point. He was a very well-known character actor player at this point.
Okay.
But he wasn't the top billing in
Dead End is
movies.
There's 12 people. They're all.
It's an ensemble piece.
Yeah.
Gunga Din we got to see. And with that's a big epic.
Gunga Din. That's how you pronounce it.
Right.
I read shit after that.
And then I suppose in the movie they say Dean, so whatever. Yeah. But that stars Cary Grant and was based off of a poem by Rudyard Kipling. I thought it was a novel, but it's a poem.
I'm going to be talking about that poem.
Oh, no.
And how different this movie is from that poem.
It's loosely based on the poem, right?
We have a guy with the same name in it. That's how loosely based.
And then the last one is Bette Davis in Dark Victory. So yes. and there's a big melodrama. So yeah, out of all these movies, I've only seen Gunga Din. So
I'm amazed you had seen that one.
Yeah, I saw that one.
You saw when you were a kid or something?
No, I watched it. I think it was on Turner Classic Movies 5 years ago.
Oh, okay, that makes some sense.
Because I watched Turner Classic a lot.
Did you make it all the way through?
Because, I watched it.
Okay.
Well,
we're gonna,
oh no!
It sounds like we're gonna have a major disagreement on this movie.
Oh no! Okay. Yeah. So what we do when we're watching these movies, we're being really tight-lipped on our reactions, trying to read each other.
Well, that is
what we don't know what we think.
We make sure we do our best to not talk about these movies
in
any way until we sit down to record this podcast.
Except when I see you when we're playing board games, and you're like, "There's a movie I'm going to talk about."
That's all I say.
Yeah.
That's all. What are you talking about? Are you saying we play board games in between some of these movies?
No.
Don't break the illusion.
No, not in between the movies. Before we do the podcast recording.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Right. We watched all this, and then we go to play board games the next day, and then the day after that we record the podcast.
Well, yeah.
That's the fiction.
All right. Oh, and then so I was just fleetingly looking at some of the music and stuff that was played back then in the 30s.
Yes. Yes, you're gonna have
all
of it.
It was just a lot of Glenn Miller, and then actually Billie Holiday.
This is before Billboard stuff, so we can't look at a top.
Yeah, so I was looking. Yeah, when I was looking, I was looking on Wikipedia.
I don't know what you do back
so there's a lot of swing, a lot of Benny Goodman, that I was looking at through the top hits of '39. So the other top hit in '39, which wasn't out when we went there yet, but in July, Over the Rainbow, Judy Garland came out. But we went in time before that.
That makes sense that was huge.
That was the #1 hit. hit of 39, obviously. So
yeah.
It was huge. With the movie wasn't
We
as
didn't
big
watch
of a
that
hit,
movie,
though.
so we can't really talk super tons about it.
No,
I've seen
no.
it 80 times.
I know.
That's fine.
That one I would not even need to be watched.
Wouldn't even bother watching the movie. I'm like, okay, I've already seen it in the theater, so that's fine.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've also seen it in the theater too. I'm a big fan of it though.
Oh yeah, well of course you do. Of course you are. You're a human being.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
All right. So the first movie that we saw was MAYERLING, 1936. So some of these movies, because we're in 1939, but some of these are holdovers. And I believe I was looking at the release dates here, and it actually came out in the U.S. in 37.
Yeah, well, that happens, as we have said before.
Yeah.
When you go back in time far enough, movies have nothing to do with when they came out.
Yeah,
so that movie came out 10 years ago. Let's just put it in the theaters.
Well, and the reason they do that is because there was no home video, there was no VHS or anything,
and it's cheap.
Yeah, so that's the way.
You get an older movie, and it'll be cheaper. And this is literally an older foreign film, and it's at 9:30 in the morning. So we'll just put it on the screen.
Well, that's how like Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind, where people wanted to rewatch it, so they would re-release them in the theaters.
Also, before television, the reason Gone with the Wind is so long and so popular is it's apparently good, which I think I saw a long time ago.
Oh,
but also, it'll kill a day. Okay.
Yeah, it's a 4-hour movie. Let's
sit down.
No,
I
like
this
it.
Movie for 4 hours.
Good. All right, so this is MAYERLING, and it stars Charles Boyer. Now, I'm familiar with Charles Boyer because he was in a 1944 movie called Gaslight, which is an awesome movie.
Yes.
Ingrid Bergman. Have you seen it?
I have not seen Gaslight. I've wanted to.
Really good.
Like, can we travel to Gaslight time?
Yeah, 44. Because we had to do a 40s.
We're going to do 40s. Okay, I'll say about Gaslight.
But yeah, so it's Charles Boyer.
I'm sorry, he's the male lead in Gaslight?
Yeah.
He's the gaslighting asshole?
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's going to be really
awesome. Because here's the thing. Okay, spoiler alert to this movie. What happens in this fucking movie? But he's pretty good in it as a human garbage. He is trash in this movie. But he's good as being trash.
Right. He plays a prince. He has like an assigned marriage or whatever. He doesn't want to do it.
Yeah. He is your typical, I'm rich.
Yeah.
I'm handsome, but for some reason I'm miserable.
Yeah.
And then literally yells at servants and slaves all day.
Well, the reason
I hate your guts.
The reason why he's miserable though is because he doesn't believe in like the politics, I think, and he kind of rebels because they kind of introduced that in the beginning of the movie because he has
there's like a because
he has a friend that's with his protests.
Yeah, is that his friend?
Yeah. He was like a reporter. Yeah.
But then that kind of storyline just dies.
It does because then
weird.
Because then he meets some random lady.
I mean, okay, this is based on actual events.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, where this piece of shit falls in love with a teenager and then they kill each other.
Yeah,
it's like or kill themselves. In this, he literally murdered. Okay, spoiler at the end of this fucking movie. Nobody, no world is ever going to watch.
He murders her.
Okay? He murders her, but she wants to die because she is like, we're gonna kill ourselves. He kills her, and then for a while, I'm legitimately thinking, is he just going to back out of this and not kill himself?
I was thinking about that too.
He answers the door and talks to a guy, and I'm like, can you die now, asshole?
Yeah, no, it was interesting because their love though is forbidden because it's accepted that he has affairs, but he can't divorce and marry someone else.
Yeah, whatever, just bang her then. Live with it.
Right. But he loves her so much, and he wants to.
Oh my God, she's a really hot teenager.
So
shut the fuck up, okay?
So it was funny. So this movie starts. So this movie is directed by, and I can't see if I can pronounce it, Anatola Litvak. He's actually a pretty good filmmaker. He actually directed another melodrama with Charles Boyer that's English language. It's called All This in Heaven 2, I think, or is it All This in Heaven 2 or All That Heaven Allows? I know there's two different movies, but anyways, he did one of them. Oh, too bad. Hold on, let me look because I have a magic internet thing right in front of me.
What? Oh my God!
All This in Heaven 2. So All This in Heaven 2, with Bette Davis, which is actually a really good movie.
Really? And that so he moved to
Hollywood.
America.
He did Hollywood, and he's doing Hollywood
because this was 36 when this came out.
Yeah.
And that Bette Davis one was 40. So I mean, it was just a couple years after.
And this director also moved to Hollywood as well, and so he directed that. But yeah, he's a really good filmmaker. I think this movie is gorgeous. It looks fantastic.
Yes,
I think the sets are great. I think the cinematography is wonderful.
There's some good sets. He goes to like a lot of like plays and ballets and stuff. The ballet, I'm like, is this what ballet was like? Because it seems like maybe this is just like to make sure we all know this is ballet, we're going to do the most basic ballet
right.
we've ever fucking
Yeah,
seen.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm like, it's pretty. There's a lot of, like I said, though, there's that weird storyline in the beginning. It starts off before you even meet him, where there's like these people meeting and they're going to go on a protest.
Yeah.
Halfway through the movie, we're going to ignore all that shit.
Yep. They do ignore it.
Well, why start with that? That's just background shit that we're going to ignore after a while.
Yeah.
You don't start the movie with that.
I actually like this movie. So
okay, here's the thing. You know, one of my problems is bad people not getting their stuff. They kill each other. It makes do people who went to this movie in 1930s Europe and America,
right?
They would be like, "Oh, well, that was such a beautiful romance," and I'm like, "Is it?
No,
they're both idiots." Okay,
right. Well, she's kind of robotic.
She's weird. I was like, how old was she in this? Because that was a thing.
Oh,
a little while.
17. She's supposed to be 17.
That's a character.
Yeah,
that's what it takes you like a good ways through the movie before they even bring up her age, and I'm like, she's supposed to be 17.
No, I think she was in her mid-20s in this movie.
But then again, then after that, after a little bit, after I saw that, and I'm like, well, she like wears all these fancy gowns and shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe that just makes her look older. You know what I mean? She is. Here's the thing. In the beginning, I knew that there was going to be some bullshit romance. They telegraphed the shit out of it. Okay? I didn't have any idea what this thing was about, and I looked it up later, and that's when I find out it's based on this actual event. They meet in a weird way in the movie.
Like in a park.
Yeah. And she's like looking for her like relatives, and then he just like he's like, holy shit, look at that hottie. Let's go over there. I'm going to talk to her because all I do is talk to hotties all day. Okay.
So, yes, because they make it clear that he just has affairs and stuff, but this one is different. So, but I will say this though, like it wasn't until later on in the movie when he's drunk at that party and ripping girls' clothes off.
Yeah.
But before that,
that's when he went full bad guy.
But before that, he really wasn't doing that much creepy stuff.
He wasn't.
They don't even show them kiss in the movie until like the last 15 minutes.
Yeah,
you don't even see them kiss.
Yes,
like
it is.
You see him like he wants to, but he's just like, nope. I actually like this one.
I actually like this teenager.
Yeah. So
granted, I think he's supposed to be like 23.
Yeah.
He in actuality, it looks like he's 44. Okay.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be in his 20s. She's supposed to be a teenager. I'm assuming
this movie.
He was born.
He was in his 30s. He was mid 30s when he did this. Late 30s.
But it's the 30s. Yeah. People in their 30s look like they're 90. Okay,
yeah, that's true. That's
especially
true.
in black and white movies.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah. So this isn't a movie where I identified with anyone, but it was an interesting piece of history that I was looking at, and I thought it was really well made. I thought it was well acted. Charles Boyer, I thought was good. I was losing it a little bit when there's a scene in the movie, that I was talking about where Charles Boyer. So she leaves. She's like, I'm getting out of the country, and he's like, I'm gonna be away from you for like a year, 13 weeks.
Yeah, that's right.
And so then
I won't be able to
so then he gets drunk.
I'll just bang a bunch of other bitches.
Right. And that was because I was just like, I think that was after an hour, and the first hour I'm like, oh, he's actually not that big of a piece of shit, and I'm like, fuck, there he goes.
He goes full drunk.
Yeah.
And full piece of shit.
Yeah.
Because he can't see her. Although they literally, before that, when they would see each other for like 10 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because it is fully has to be secret.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh. Oh, they'll like plan out, we can see each other for 20 minutes on Saturday. And I'm like,
yeah.
Christ, this looks.
That was interesting.
You're both rich. Go find somebody else. Okay. Because at the beginning, I thought when they telegraphed his romance and stuff, and they had all this protesting stuff, I thought he was going to fall in love with one of the protesters.
Yeah.
Just fall in love with another. She's literally a fucking baroness.
Yeah.
Yet he kind of laments. Other people lament that he can't. Oh, she's below you, and I'm like, is she? She's a baroness. Don't Princess Mary baronesses all the fucking time.
But so for me, with all that said, as the movie was going on, I thought it was just a really well crafted movie, and I was like, I'm digging it. So I gave it a 3 out of 4 because I actually really liked it.
I actively like going into movies where I don't know anything, and then I'll find out stuff later. This is one of those ones where I'm like, I kind of wish I had known it was based on this actual historical event. Yeah. Because maybe I could have judged it better in a different way. Then I
didn't know anything about it either. I was
it really okay. there were things about it that kind of bored me. Okay,
Yeah,
because it has some downtime.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
You're right. It's actually pretty.
It's really pretty.
They have a completely. This is the thing I was thinking about during it. This is full Hays Code time.
Oh yeah.
This is a European movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, they don't have to follow any Hays Code. And then this movie could have been made in the U.S. They literally have U.S. remakes later.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
They're probably
directed by the same guy. He even directed one of the remakes. Yeah,
wow.
until
like 30 years later, it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but that one stars like Ava Gardner.
That one's 68. So no, he did the 57 one.
Oh, okay. That's only 20 years later.
Yeah, and it was made for television, and it starred Audrey Hepburn.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Weird. Audrey Hepburn legit could, until she died in her 60s, could have passed for 24.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's fine. Okay. She will look like a teenager.
No, I just thought it was good. I thought the cinematography, the lighting was great. I thought the editing was good. So I just thought, and I come at movies a little different than you. Like I went to film school, and so
yes,
I'm really
I
go through like a filmmaking. I have a filmmaking eye, so I kind of get won over. Even if the story's okay, if the filmmaking is really good, it draws me in. It draws me into the movie.
This is what I have told people when I've mentioned this podcast that I'm in. You're the film guy. I'm the movie guy.
Yeah, okay? yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
And I'm going to judge it on the script. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do, and whether or not I actually like the people I'm watching.
Yes.
In this.
I don't have to like the people.
I know
for me.
You were fine with it. Because Austin, I still like you.
Yeah.
Okay. Even no matter you're obviously like monsters. Okay. This one was hard for me to judge because at the end of it, I was really mad that they killed each other because I had no idea that was going to happen. Because if I had read about it beforehand, I'm like, I would have literally just been sitting around waiting. Okay, what happens at the end? How do they kill each other in the end? How do they kill
actually
themselves?
really like that sequence. Like I thought it was really well done. Like that sequence was done. Like,
it was. I mean, she like lies in bed.
Yeah.
And she like closes her eyes.
Yeah.
And he blows her brains out.
And they actually see blood. They have the blood from her head.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's a thing that in 1939 US
or
1936 in the US,
you don't see it that often.
You get shot. You just
fall over.
You're magically dead now. Okay?
Yeah.
There's no wounds. You're just a dead person.
My favorite thing in movies. My favorite thing is movies when someone gets stabbed anywhere and then they fall down dead.
Yes,
that's my favorite thing.
Oh well, that happens. That happens in some of these movies. Stuff like that's going to happen. Where it's like people magically just like, oh, that guy's dead now. I guess. Okay? I mean, he was in the room where some stuff happened.
So what would you give this at a star?
Oh boy, this one was confusing because you're right. It's pretty. Yeah. And I actually thought, even though I didn't like him and I thought she was dumb because she fell in love with this guy who and it took she's like falling for him, but she has no idea who he is, even though he's obviously very possibly the most famous guy in the entire country.
She goes, "Oh, you do remind me of that guy.
You remind me of the prince, and you're super handsome and super well dressed.
Oh, you are the prince.
You couldn't possibly be the prince. I was stupid." She figures it out. That's right. That was like they go to a ballet.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there creeping on her. Because they're both at the same one. He's just staring at her. And I'm like, dude, you are fucking creepy. Okay? But it's pretty.
You do out of 4 stars. I did 3.
I'm going to do 1.5.
Okay, that's fair enough. No, that's fair enough.
Because I got mad at the end. Now, granted, if I had known it was based on this, I probably would have been
see, 1.5 is like
historical thing.
1.5 is like you didn't like it, but the half is like it was well made.
No. You okay? When I don't like it, it's a 0.
That's true.
That's how I work. Okay? This thing got a full 1.5 stars above. Literally burn this and never let any human beings watch it again. That's my bad movies. Okay.
Which you've given like 2 already.
I have given 2. And I kind of would like to retroactively the first one, but no, fuck it. It's a 0. Okay.
All right, our second movie, we went to go see The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Now, I'm pretty familiar with the novel. I don't know if
I am somewhat familiar with I know of the novel, and I know that I know some of the changes that were made here.
Yeah. And I've seen, have you seen any other film adaptations of
I have
this?
never seen a film adaptation of Huck Finn.
In 1993,
I think this is actually the best reviewed film adaptation possible.
Oh, is it? Interesting. I don't know if I'd have to look at the 93 one because I thought that was okay reviews. Maybe. Young Elijah Wood plays Huckleberry Finn. And it was
Mickey Rooney was like 18, but he successfully plays 13 because he's a fucking smurf. Okay? He's a tiny little dude.
But
he can play a kid till he was 50.
The 93 version was directed by Stephen Sommers, who went on to direct the Mummy movies.
Okay. Oh, maybe I should give that a shot.
It's okay. It's okay.
Because the huckster dudes in this,
yeah,
they're fucking funny. I like those guys. Those guys were great. The con artist dudes.
Oh,
those guys were. Oh. I thought they were hilarious. I like those dudes.
Okay, so Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. This is based off of the famous Mark Twain novel. Mickey Rooney plays Huckleberry Finn, and so it's just his adventures of like he. Skipped school.
He's Huck Finn. He's a 13-year-old in the 1860s or 1840s, probably, something like that.
Yeah,
this is before the Civil War.
Yeah. And I'm glad they changed the name because in the novel it's N-word Jim.
Yes,
so
they never say that.
They don't say
they just call him Jim.
And I want to say even in the 93 version they did. So
they did.
I want to say they did, but I could be wrong.
Oh, maybe. Because I was like, it's 39. I'm assuming they're just going to say it. Nope.
They didn't.
They just call him Jim.
Yeah, they just call him Jim.
But they do change what's happening.
Yeah.
Because he's not accused of murdering Huck Finn in the novel. He's just on the run. He just wants to escape slavery.
Yeah.
And see his like family or something.
Yeah.
Think, right.
And then eventually
then goes the wrong direction.
Right. And then Huck Finn also runs away too and meets up with Jim and then he meets the hucksters, the
hucksters,
the con
which
men.
are probably a good third of the movie, the movie maybe.
And then they put him in there, and then they want him to, you can be in this play with us, and we're gonna rip people off, But then they get mad at him, and then they start chasing him I can't remember.
In this movie,
But
what happens is they act like they're the dead brothers of a guy who died. They're living brothers of a guy who died.
Yeah,
and they're trying to just like scam all the people out of that guy's inheritance.
Right.
And they have like a longish con. They don't just say, "Hey, okay, we're going to take all this stuff and leave." They have a little longer con, but they eventually get caught.
Right.
And Huck Finn is also there, but gets like knocked out or something. I can't remember. Boy, when it's a second movie out of 7, you're right. I'm having issues.
Yeah, me too. I'm just like, they're all kind of running together when we do a marathon in one day. I didn't like this movie at all. Actually.
Okay.
Oh no!
Here's a slight disagreement. I'm watching this, and I'm like 5 minutes in, and I'm like, is Mickey Rooney kind of like good in this movie?
I didn't think he was at all.
I thought he was pretty damn solid. He's a little kid. He's supposed to be 13. I mean, I know you were born a big bald adult.
Yeah. No. Everything was just kind of flat about it. The direction, I didn't think anything was really exciting.
Weird.
It's called The Adventures of Huck Finn, and it wasn't really exciting.
That's a big difference then, because there were stuff in here. Huck Finn is like a comedy, okay? But it's a comedy from before when people knew how laughter worked, okay?
And then with you not liking...
there's some actual funny stuff that happens in this.
But then with you not liking people, when he's actually like, what? You're sounding like an ball in a...
Oh, no. But I also knew he was going to come around. It's Huck Finn. I'm like, yes, he's a stupid kid who's been brainwashed by the South.
Yeah.
But also, I know by the end of this movie, he's not going to be that stupid kid who's brainwashed for the South, okay? So that's why I'm like, okay, it's Huck Finn. I know how this story goes.
Yeah.
It's going to change, okay?
I didn't like the hucksters either. So
you didn't? I thought the hucksters were hilarious and funny.
I did not think they were funny.
There's the scene they show it on the Wikipedia page. This guy man stealing watermelon. That scene where they both have stolen a thing, and and Huck thinks he's going to get caught by this adult, and this adult thinks he's going to get caught by a kid, and neither one of them has any idea what's happening. And then they just look at each other and they slowly walk away. And I'm like, because Huck Finn doesn't know that the guy has a watermelon behind his back.
No.
And then the guy pulls out a watermelon. You never see him again. And I'm like, that's what I want to see, baby. Because that dude never comes back. Because it was just one little quick funny scene. I legit thought it was funny. Now, maybe it was because I just watched this crazy French film. Okay.
Maybe that's why too, because I'm just like all hoity-toity after the French.
Maybe that's right. Because I think both these movies are going to have very differing opinions.
Wow, yeah, no, I thought, I didn't think the direction was very good. I thought it was almost like a staged play. Like there was no creativity with the camera shots.
I think it even says something was based on the play version of Huck Finn or something.
Yeah, and it was just but it kind of felt really stagey. The acting I thought felt stagey. And
weird.
Yeah,
because I was
really bored. I was really bored.
I kind of liked Mick Rooney in this movie.
No, I didn't like
and I kind of liked the guy who played Jim. I thought he played him good.
He was my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah,
I thought he gives the best performance in the film.
Actually,
for
weird,
sure.
because I also like the hucksters. I don't know. I like this movie. It's
Wow, look at that.
Now, granted, it does change the ending pretty drastically because the movie changes. I mean, Jim is just he just goes on the run.
Yeah,
but also people think he killed Huck Finn because Huck Finn like faked his own death. Okay?
Yeah,
which I think he kind of does in the book, right? No, he just leaves, doesn't he? He just runs away.
He just leaves. I
don't think he fakes his death.
In Tom Sawyer, that happened.
Yes. Oh, and Tom Sawyer. That's right. That's right. That they took some of that stuff from the Tom Sawyer because Tom Sawyer does not show up in this, even though in the book he does show up at the end.
Yeah.
Also, but in the book he is a true piece of shit in the book. Okay, because he in the book.
Who, Huckleberry Finn?
No, Tom Sawyer. Oh. Tom Sawyer knows that the people who owned Jim have released him. They have let him go. And then he still wants to be part of this weird con to let Jim out of this other thing. But he also knew the whole time that all he had to do was just say, no, Jim is no longer on the run. Okay, he's been set free. But Tom Sawyer wants to be part of this fun thing because he's Tom Sawyer and he likes doing scammery. And I'm like, okay, Tom Sawyer's kind of an asshole. Okay,
yeah.
But he's not in this, and I suspect it's because 1939. Film rights to Tom Sawyer might have been owned by somebody else or something.
Well, in 1938, there was a Adventures of Tom Sawyer movie.
Yeah, which
I saw that as a kid, and I really liked it as a kid.
Here's the thing: there's no way you can have that without having Huck Finn in that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, he's obviously in
that.
he
is in that movie.
But in this one, they don't ever have Tom Sawyer. They never even mention Tom Sawyer. I think they talk about Betsy or whatever. Oh. They bring her name up once.
I also thought it was embarrassing watching Mickey Rooney, and twice you get to see him just as a woman. And he gets to
that stuff happens in the book. There's nothing you can do about it.
I know that, but I just didn't think that stuff was funny.
Yes, he dresses as a girl. He's not dressed as a woman. He's dressed as a little girl. When you were a little kid, you never put on a... I wasn't a kid. I was a fully grown adult when I wore that dress. So never mind.
No, I did. So I was in theater, so I dressed up a couple times.
Yeah, fucking hypocrite.
But yeah,
okay. No, I want to hear your starage on this.
Oh man, okay. I actually really hated this movie.
Okay.
I gave it a 1.
Oh God, I'm gonna give it a full 2.5.
Oh, okay.
I'm not giving it a 4-star rating.
Yeah.
It's still a shitty Huck Finn movie in the 30s.
I just thought it was really flat, really boring.
It's just that they are boring. It's one of those. It's a thing that while watching it, I'm like, boy, there's a lot happening in this movie, but there's also a lot of times where I'm just bored out of my skull.
Yeah.
But then periodically stuff happens, and he meets the hucksters, and they got thrown off of a boat. And I'm like, okay, we met him. Now he's going to go, I could not remember at all the whole Huckster storyline. Okay?
Yeah, I remember that kind of, those guys kind of reminded me of it, and probably Disney took them for like in Pinocchio. They have the 2 hucksters that try to get Pinocchio.
Yeah, I think that's actually in the Pinocchio story, though.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
But it's very similar.
But also, those hucksters are in the Huck Finn novel.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, they only really changed the murder subplot stuff and the fact they got rid of Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, but wow, so we really disagree. Let's see if we'll agree on a movie.
I'm trying to think here.
It's a Wonderful World is our next movie.
Okay, I suspect we might agree on this because I'm like middle of the road. Well, no, I mean it's going to be some of the last one. There's parts of this that I really like.
So It's a Wonderful World, a screwball comedy mystery film.
Yes,
kind of.
Well, it's kind of a How Ketchum mystery because you know exactly. Actually, the beginning of the movie. At the beginning of the movie, they try to they show the murder or what happened and you don't see who did it, and then the next scene they basically just tell you who did it, and I'm like, why did they not just show the guy doing it? Okay, I don't understand.
So this stars Claude Colbert and James Stewart. James Stewart was just starting to become a pretty big star at this point.
Yes,
this is
pre-World War II.
Yeah, but because
he was in the war, and then after that he became huge.
Right. Well, he started becoming huge right after this year because this is the same year he did Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Oh, okay.
Which was a huge movie and a great movie. He also did the year before this. He was in You Can't Take It With You, also directed by Frank Capra, and that one was not. It won Best Picture in '38.
Oh, okay.
So he was starting. So
he was a name, which is why you take a look on this. He's second billing under Claude.
Right. Well, Claude Colbert, because she won Best Actress 5 years earlier.
Yeah.
It Happened One Night, which is a great screwball comedy.
Yeah. I mean, that's weird because I could tell by watching this. Because I think I've seen It Happen One Night, but other than that,
yeah, it's really good.
She's pretty typecast in this type of role.
Yes,
okay,
I think so too. It's a Wonderful World. So Jimmy Stewart plays a private detective, and one of his clients gets framed for murder. He gets arrested and gets sentenced to a year for helping him out, and his client is sentenced for the death penalty. So he ends up he's on a train going to jail, and then he escapes. He like takes the guy because he's handcuffed to the guy.
He combination fugitives him. Okay,
Yeah,
because of the train and
they jump off the train. He jumps off the train with the guy.
Commando. I guess kind of. Yeah, he does jump off the train with the guy, and then somehow
that actually surprised me. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Wow, what is he doing?"
That was nuts, and it works because it's a movie.
yeah, no, it's cool. But then he ends up getting free of him, and then
I mean, she thinks he has murdered that guy.
Yeah, because so she comes in like she's in the
like
wilderness
looking for a dog or something.
Yeah, and
right?
she just shows up, and then he kind of kidnaps her, but then she kind of tags along.
Yeah.
It's like
it starts off.
It's almost mutual.
It's a little sketchy. Okay, it starts off where he has kidnapped her, but then she completely Stockholm syndrome's this thing. Okay, but also she's like a writer.
He's trying to get rid of her too, and she's like, "No,
yeah,
I'm coming with you."
After a while, he's trying to dump her, and then he does dump her, and then he comes back to get her at some point.
Yeah. So now he's trying to. So the rest of the movie, he's trying to figure out. He's like, okay, who murdered her, and how I can get out of this, all that stuff. And then Claudia Colbert buys it and is trying to help him, I guess. And that's pretty much the movie in a nutshell.
Yeah, he's very misogynistic in this movie.
Oh yeah,
his character is
absolutely
actively misogynistic, to such a degree that we all know. Okay, even people from the 30s have to go. He's a little much, okay?
So in this movie, I love screwball comedies from the 30s. So one of my favorite movies of all time is Bringing Up Baby.
Okay.
1938. Cary Grant.
I saw that so long ago.
I couldn't
tell you other than the fact that there's a big cat in it.
And I love It Happened One Night. I just love the genre. So when I found out this was a screwball comedy, I'm like, this is right up my alley. And it's directed by W.S. Van Dyke, who did all the Thin Man movies. The Thin Man films. At least the first couple. I don't know if he did all of them, but
yeah, there's like 12 of those.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So I was really looking forward to it, and I don't hate this movie.
Okay, good.
But I also didn't like it.
It takes, I would say, like halfway through, suddenly some stuff happens, and I'm like, legit funny.
Oh, I laughed out loud.
Probably
like 6 or 7 times.
When he puts on his disguise as like a scoutmaster.
Oh, with his eyes.
Yeah, but I'm also like, that is one of the best disguises ever, because I couldn't tell you that was Jimmy Stewart in a million years.
Right.
Okay, but that is a hilarious scene when he meets a bunch of cops, and the cops all recognize her because she's like the most famous author in the world or something. And they all want to get pictures with her. And at one point, his glasses fall off, and the picture is with him without the glasses. But they don't see that because pictures aren't instantaneous. It's not.
Then when they see the picture later, they're like,
"Oh,
it's him."
The paper. And
that was a clever
they're
scene,
like captains. They're like Captain opens the paper and screaming at him, and he goes, "But he was wearing a disguise." It's pretty funny. Those cops are legit like funny. Okay?
So the thing that actually caught me off guard in this movie is that Jimmy Stewart, one of the best American actors ever.
Yeah,
he's good in the movie. Generally, when you think of wholesome and nice and like great guy,
he's not any of those things.
You think of Jimmy Stewart. So it threw me off that this is the first movie where I'm like, I don't like Jimmy Stewart in this movie. Like I hate his character. No,
keep in mind, we've seen another Jimmy Stewart movie where he plays a pretty bad person. Okay, in Bandoleros.
Oh yeah.
He was.
He's more likable in that movie than this movie, I think.
That one makes it unclear whether he murdered a guy, though. So I don't know. In this, she thinks he murdered a guy, but they make it absolutely clear that guy's fine. Okay,
but he's a jerk in this movie.
He's a huge jerk.
The way he talks
directly to her.
Yeah, the way he talks to her is
and she falls for him. That always bothers me. I'm like, God damn it! You are literally the most famous author in the world. You can find a guy who isn't Jimmy Stewart.
Not only did I not buy the two characters falling in love, I didn't buy the actors' chemistry.
Well, here's the thing.
There is no chemistry between them.
Fell in love with her.
No, I don't think he did either.
She gets like infatuated with him, and by the end of it, he's like, "I guess women aren't so bad." That's as good as he gets towards her. Okay?
Yeah.
Women can be kind of okay on occasion.
Yeah, because he's like, I hate women. Women are no good.
Women are garbage. Women are all stupid.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
He says that. He said all women are stupid. At some
I don't
point.
know why women exist.
Yeah.
Well, they make babies. Also, they're pretty and stuff. Okay, sure. Okay.
So, but I also didn't buy the actor. I didn't think their chemistry was good together.
Yeah. It's mostly because it's so one-sided.
And I also thought
it's irritatingly one-sided.
And I like Claudia Colbert, and It Happened One Night, but I thought she was really shrill in this, and just kind of like her voice was just like I'm
There's
just like I thought she
four
was
things.
annoying more than funny. I thought
There are like 4 things in this that I legit thought were pretty funny.
Oh no, there's
but
some
then
funny
most
stuff
of the,
once
but
in a
then
while.
other stuff is just like, that's just upsetting. Okay?
And it has a really weird structure where it has this kind of like on the road chase type movie, and it seemed like that they were trying to go for, because Claudia Colbert's in it, kind of like, oh, let's do like a It Happened One Night kind of thing, where it's a road
that
movie,
makes sense.
and it kind of felt like that. And then the last half hour, all of a sudden they're like, oh, they're in a theater troupe now.
Yeah,
and
it was weird, and it made no sense, and I was not clear. I was
because
like,
they stumble upon a theater troupe, and then they're hiding out in that, and then the rest of it they're in a play.
It's
and
like there was like a 10-minute period where I'm like, I should watch that again or something, because I don't know how they got to this point.
Same with me actually, because I'm like, what?
How did this happen?
Yeah, it was just really really strange. But you know, I thought some of the direction was okay. I thought, you know, Jim Stewart actually is good in the movie. I just didn't like his character.
Yes, that's actually probably the most surprising thing, is how good he is at being an unlikable person.
Yeah,
because you never see him as not a likable person.
You always
in any other movie.
It's like Jimmy Stewart. Oh, this is going to be.
Oh my God,
I'm gonna like him in this.
But he's in some. He's a bad guy. What Western is that? Where he's legit a terrifying bad guy.
I don't know.
Not Battle Arrow. That's in that.
No.
He's just like a side character.
I don't know.
I can't remember. It's something.
So, and then I also got a shout out, because I'm a big Lauren Hardy fan. There's a character actor in this movie, Edgar Kennedy. He was one of the cops trailing him.
Okay.
And he's the bald guy with the clown fringe, and I like him a lot in the movie, because I've seen him in a lot of Lauren Hardy films and Little Rascals, and he's just an awesome character actor. So it was fun watching him in the movie.
The cops actually were funny.
Yeah,
they were legit just like funny characters.
Yeah,
and they were there just for jokes.
They were kind of bumbling around, I like them.
They never seemed to be like toxically stupid or bad or anything. They were stupid, but they weren't toxic people. Okay, he's a toxic dude in this movie. Okay,
yeah.
She's an idiot.
Okay,
yeah,
she's an idiot, toxic dude. But yeah, and then their kiss at the end, like it felt unearned. It didn't feel earned.
It does not feel earned. It
so
feels really
it sounds like I hated it more than I did. Like I'm giving it a 2. Because I didn't hate it. I
2 sounds about right for me.
I was just watching it, and I'm like, there's things I liked about it, because I like the premise. I feel like with different actors, like I hate to go back to Bringing Up Baby, but if you put Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn in this, I think that we would have had something.
Yes, because their chemistry would have worked, and also he can play kind of skeevy, weird, shitty guy.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out later this episode.
But no, so it's okay. This movie was just more than bad. It was just more. I was disappointed in it.
Yes,
because I was really looking.
2 stars sounds about right. If you watch this, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna make it all the way through, and you go like, that was fine.
Yeah,
and I laughed a few times.
I did laugh a few times.
Which I'm gonna say, I think a lot of people, younger people now, will think, if I watch a comedy from the 30s, that's not gonna be funny. You're gonna laugh a couple of times.
Yeah,
it's gonna be legit. There's some funny shit that happens in this movie.
Right.
There's also weird toxic shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's weird toxic shit in almost every
movie.
Movie, because it's 1939, so we're gonna see toxic shit in all of this stuff. Everything.
But Jimmy Stewart can be funny.
Yeah.
Everybody's known that.
Oh yeah.
So when he does funny things, you're like, okay, that's funny. It's just he always punctuates it in this movie with like, women are all sucky. I hate women. Meh. Boobs, I hate them.
Hi, stupid. Like
Hi, stupid.
yeah. It's not
Hi,
good.
redhead weirdo. I don't know. I mean, in this poster, she's redhead. Did they mention it in this black and white movie?
No. Right. Yeah, it's so weird when you see it. So, all right, next movie we picked Broadway Serenade, because there's something you might not know about Tim. Your favorite genre of films are musicals. One of your favorite genres.
It's probably my favorite genre. Yeah. Film. My favorite movie of all time might be Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh. Wow!
God damn, I love that.
Oh, and me too.
I only like and it's only because I have the
director's cut,
the director's ending, which is vastly superior.
Yeah. No, I love Little Shop of Horrors. Is a wonderful movie.
But also, I mean, can watch a lot of stuff. This is a different kind. This is the old school kind of musical.
Backstage musical is what they call it.
Every time they're singing, it's because these people have jobs as singers and they sing.
So
now, granted, we should fire her because she sucks. Okay,
you didn't like her singing?
God, I hate her. Over singing was so over the top. Singing.
It's the style of singing from the 30s. I think it's just that. I've
heard 30 songs.
It's almost operatic.
I hated her.
It's almost operatic.
I hated every time she sang.
Aww.
And I also didn't understand. Okay. Okay, you could give the synopsis. That's
Okay.
your job.
Well, first of all, so we picked this movie because you wanted to see a musical. So like we got to see a musical.
Look at music. We haven't done a musical yet.
We haven't, yeah. So Broadway Serenade, and I didn't really know much about this movie. I've never heard of this musical.
I had never heard of it.
So I was just like, okay, Jeanette MacDonald. I don't really know. I've heard her name, but I don't really know who she is. Yeah. So this,
I want to talk about this movie.
Oh no, I liked it. Get out of here. All right.
Okay. You're good. You'll see.
Okay.
You'll see.
So, Jeanette MacDonald plays. So actually, Lou. I can't pronounce his last name. Is Iris. Lou.
So whatever.
One thing.
I don't know how to pronounce his name either.
Side note here. Side note. What I am awful. I always have been awful at pronouncing names. So throughout all of these podcasts, I apologize.
You can pronounce Ian Hunter and Frank Morgan.
I can.
And
Lou,
Jeanette MacDonald.
Yes.
It's just Lou, whatever his name is.
Ayres. Yeah.
Well,
Lou Ayres. So they're a husband and wife team.
I'm sorry. You like this movie?
I did.
Confusing.
Okay. I did. So they're a husband and wife team, and he kind of reminded me of Red Skelton a little bit. So they're a husband and wife team.
I wish.
They don't know anyone. Or they don't let anyone know that they're married because it might not get them hired because they don't want to hire couples because they want I
was wondering why that was going on.
Back in Hollywood, back in showbiz back then. Even if the actress was married, the woman was married, they didn't want them to know because they wanted the audience to think that she was single. So that was kind of the thing they did back then.
I figured that because at one point she's getting actively skeeved on by a dude.
Yeah.
And they do not make it clear that guy who's standing next to me is my husband.
Yeah. Well, then she finally tells him.
Yeah.
And he appropriately backs off.
Yeah. So that was the thing. At that point, I'm like, oh, that's right. They're calling her Miss. They don't know she's married because at one point I'm like, that guy's I'm like, oh wait, he just thinks she's single and he just likes her and he's kind of hitting on her in a flirty way.
Yeah,
it's fine. But when he finds out, nope, done.
Yeah,
okay? And I'm like, oh, okay. I thought he was a piece of shit. He's actually not that bad.
Right.
Okay.
And so what happens is she ends up becoming pretty successful. Like they both try out on a show and they're like, we'll take you. We don't want him.
Okay. I'm going to give everybody a big spoiler alert.
Yeah.
This is just Poor Man's Star is Born. Okay.
Yeah. But
it doesn't have the balls to end it like Star is Born.
It's not as depressing or anything.
Yeah, because Star is Born has to end. It's real depressing.
This is more lighthearted.
This ends with fucking terror.
Oh my God! You didn't like the Busby Berkeley musical number?
The Twilight Zone masks that they're all wearing.
So good.
Some of them are creepy black Frank masks.
Yeah.
But some of them can like move their mouths and they're singing.
So
and the only thing I'm sorry. Well, when we get to the end, we'll talk.
So.
Because I'm going to tell you, the only reason this movie has anything in my heart is the ending. It transcends so terrible that loops back around to being the best thing in the movie. Okay.
So there's a lot of back and forth here because she's continuing her success. He's kind of like he's a songwriter, and so he's trying to make it as a songwriter. But he's encouraging her. He's like, "No, do it. Be an actress."
He never really stops encouraging her.
Oh,
but
no.
He gets like super jealous still eventually, they're trying to tell you he's a belligerent asshole.
Yeah.
But the first time you see him punch somebody, I'm like, that guy fucking deserved it. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right.
That drunken piece of shit assaulted his wife.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? And then he gets fired, and I'm like, no, what he just did was fine. Okay.
Right.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of punching people, but that guy fucking had it coming. Okay.
Right. But they also didn't know that was her husband either. Because
but who cares? He fucking basically shot that thing right at her. I'm like, okay, pow. Okay. Makes sense to me.
So, but then eventually, like midway through the movie, they do part ways and they get a divorce because it's just not working out. And, and he gets jealous and it gets a little mixed up because he actually thinks that his wife is seeing that one financer guy that is
because they've been on tour for a long time. And he just assumes she's cheating on him.
But the financer is not. The financer totally wants to get in her pants, but he's being respectful.
He's like, he's married. We're fine. I'll bang some other bitches. Okay?
Right. And think of you.
And yes, I'll be thinking of you. And your crooning, terrifying, screeching voice.
Okay.
Oh, God, I hated her singing.
But then it ends up, they meet later on, and then he gets hired by the same producer, and then they kind of work together, and then it ends kind of happy, I guess. So
I mean, it does. The last thing you see basically is she sees that he has showed up to the play.
Yep.
That is a play he wrote.
Yeah.
Well, he wrote the music.
Yeah.
And then that other guy took that music, made a fucking nightmare out of it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then, like, holy shit. That fucking, the actual Broadway Serenade at the end of it. Which is the name of this.
Hold on, I want to get into that in a second.
Okay,
but so before we get into that, the rest of the movie. So I like Jenna McDonald. Her singing style is not my singing style. I think for that singing style, I actually like her singing style.
Okay,
because it's that operatic.
Just to make it clear, it's that she can sing.
It's that operatic.
I just fucking hated every time she did.
Yeah, it's this operatic singing style. So it isn't like that jazzy style. It's this operatic singing style that was very commonplace in the 30s, and I accepted it. I'm like, okay, this is the way it's going to be.
It's just they try to pawn off some of the songs he writes as being good, and then later on they play it again. And I'm like, that's the same song because I can't tell. They all sound the fucking same.
Well, because well, they take his songs because he does more of like slow ballads, and then they kind of like jazz it up to make them faster, to make them hip.
That Thing You Do It. That's what they do. They take That Thing You Do, and then they jazz it up so that it becomes a song that doesn't suck. In this, it still sucks.
I actually didn't mind the music in the movie. So I liked some of the musical numbers. I really liked in the middle or about the third way into the movie when she goes on her first show, and they do that one song at the ski lodge. It's like a ski lodge thing, and she's skiing, and I loved the art direction in that. I thought the way
that was like a play thing.
It was her thing. Because it was something that they produced on Broadway.
Yeah, some of that stuff where I'm like, this would be cool if I just didn't have to
the way they had like in the background. You could see like little I don't know how they did it like robotic they had like these little skiers in the background. And that looks so cool. And I'm like, oh, that just the effort.
It's the kind of thing that if you saw it in a play, you're like, that's really cool. I thought it was shit going on. And then she would come out and I'd want to see you later.
I thought it was awesome.
Take this anymore.
I also want to say I really, really liked Frank Morgan in the movie. Frank Morgan is the producer, and you might know him. He's the Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
I thought he was awesome in this movie. I thought he was funny. Like, he was really funny in the movie.
I mean, here's the thing. This movie is, like I said, it's just a Star is Born. He gets jealous. He's drunk. He gets jealous. That weirdly, the end of the Star is Born happens at like halfway point in this movie. Okay, and then she becomes famous and goes on tour, and then they get back together because he's not dead because it's not Star is Born. Okay? No, you're right. Actually, a lot of the actors in this are great. Yeah, I just couldn't get past the part that periodically. No, actually, the first time you see her singing, it's like, oh, okay. This is mostly fine. I don't know this song. I feel like I'm supposed to know it, or they're pawning it off like they're trying to make it feel like everybody knows this song, and I'm like, I've never fucking heard this song before in my life. But whatever, okay. But then he writes a song, and she starts singing, and they're like just sitting in the living room, and I'm like, I fucking hate this. I fucking hate her singing style of just she over sings. Yeah, so much over.
It's over singing. It's there's also some odd humor in the movie that I kind of laughed at a lot, but sometimes it didn't fit with the rest of the movie. One of them, in the beginning of the movie, when they're trying to produce the show and they're having a bunch of people in the room, and there's that one guy that goes up to Frank Morgan and was just like, I'm the hex, I'm the evil eye, and he does that weird thing with his eye.
Yeah, that guy was so weird. I didn't know what was going on with that guy, and he's just sort of a side thing in the background for a while.
No, it was just the first 15 minutes. That was it. Yeah. And then the other weird part was when someone goes, I forgot who it was, but goes up to this big guy and asks, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to bump into you. And then he has a woman's voice. And he's like, oh, excuse me. And I'm like, what? Yeah. I mean, that seemed like it was out of like a Laurel and Hardy movie.
It's a completely different thing. And you're right. Film. That stuff, I'm like watching it, I'm like, this is legit amusing. But I had this thing in the back of my head. I was just like, I know she's going to sing, and I know I'm going to hate it. And that really soured me to this movie.
So now
we're going to talk about the end.
Yeah. So let me go on a little bit of history. So I don't know if you had to have heard of Busby Berkeley.
Yeah. Of course I have.
So he is.
I'm an old man.
Yeah. So he has been known for. I mean, he didn't start direct. He's directed a few movies, but he's mostly known as a choreographer. And what you'll see in a lot of movies, especially like 42nd Street and stuff like that, is that it's directed by someone else, but these three musical sequences were directed by Busby Berkeley. So he would come in to direct these musical sequences, and he directs the last one in this movie. And he's
That's
very.
Why it doesn't feel like the rest of the movie.
No, absolutely. And I actually kind of wish he would have directed the whole movie, to be honest.
Oh, I would have enjoyed it more.
If it
had been that insane, I would have loved it.
So, but all his musical numbers are crazy. Like, he's the one that kind of popularized the overhead shot of like the ladies like in a circle.
That's basically a picture of the 30s.
Right. And so he's
like, oh, that's from the 30s.
But they always have weird camera work, really unique choreography.
That's
the
end of this movie.
But the way it's framed is something. It's like something. It's otherworldly, and it's something you've never seen. And most of his musical numbers are like that, and this is no exception. I think the musical number at the end, I loved it. I think it's fantastic. It's weird as shit, and it doesn't fit with anything in the movie.
It's weird.
It's total
insanity.
nightmare. It's nightmare fodder.
It is like, holy shit. This is terrifying.
I really like it.
I love it.
I really like it.
Okay, this movie is almost 2 hours long.
Yes.
You're going to sit through an hour and 40 minutes, and for me, you're going to go like, I can't believe I fucking made it. It's an hour and 40 minutes. And then that last 10 minutes, you're going to be like, holy shit. I'm so glad I sat through the rest of this movie because this movie has taken, it is legit. I am not kidding.
Yeah.
It was fucking terrifying. Those fucking masks.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah.
That Twilight Zone episode has those, which we're all talking about the masks episode, which, I mean, younger people might not have ever seen it, okay? But there's an episode of the Twilight Zone where this rich guy, in his will, gives everybody a mask that they have to wear during...
No, I know what you're talking about.
I know. I'm just describing it for the listeners. They have to wear it during the reading of the will, and they have to keep it on for like a certain amount of time. And the mask, the will legitimately says, this mask is going to make you as ugly on the outside as you are on the inside. These people were fucking 8 times scarier.
Yeah.
They were fucking masks in here that couldn't move, but they were dancing with her. And the only thing, as far as I can remember, the only thing she ever sings is Lonely Heart. Okay? And she says it over and over and over. And I'm like, yes, of course she's lonely. Those people are fucking terrifying, okay?
It was so different than the rest of the movie, and I thought it was exciting. It was odd. Yeah. Also, the thing I compare it to is in the movie Dumbo. This is the pink elephant sequence. It's like, because if you watch the pink elephant,
this is supposed to be actually happening,
right? But if you watch the pink elephant sequence, you're just like, it's so different from anything else in the movie, and that's kind of what this is the pink elephant sequence in this movie,
and it's just the end of the movie, because it's like uses his music, which I'm like, sure, I'll take your word for it. This music is the same as all the other music in the movie, okay? And she only sings the one line, as far as I remember. But she's dancing, and there's these terrifying monsters dancing with her. And then at one point, she also puts a mask on, and it's like, oh my god, what the fuck is happening in this movie? It's so fucking scary.
So I enjoyed the rest of the movie even before that. So I give this a strong 3 for me. I actually really I liked this movie.
Okay.
So.
We're gonna. This is my thing.
You're gonna divide it up.
This movie was a half-star movie.
Come on, it's not that bad.
That ending literally adds a full star and a half. Okay,
so you give
this
it
is
2?
a fucking. I'm gonna go 1.5. Let's add a full star. I was so bored most of the time.
See, I
actively hated her singing.
Okay,
and then that ending, I'm like, I could watch this ending every day.
No, I thought that the ski musical sequence I really liked a lot.
Yeah, there was some other stuff, but it's just I had this tension in my head where I'm like, I know what she's gonna sing, and I'm gonna fucking hate it.
And I didn't mind this thing. So yeah, I guess if you don't really like that type of like,
it's this thing. And I've seen other movies from the 30s,
right?
And the singing in those is fine. I just don't think they chose the right kind.
Okay,
because I'm also
okay.
I guarantee she could sing, but the director said, "Now go crazy." Also, make sure that you're singing, but it's also like you're being scratched by cats at the same time, and you have to sing. You have to sing so loud that you can't hear the cats mewing at the same time.
Oh, I like
it.
I like it. No, I think this was because this is a movie that's not really well known, and I think it should be. I think it's pretty good. Is it the best musical I've ever seen? Of course not.
Okay,
but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun, lighthearted musical.
I haven't looked to see if that last 10 minutes is on YouTube somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure it's got to be.
Fucking watch it.
It's got to be.
Because
Broadway
holy
Serenade.
shit, it will fucking change it'll blow your mind.
Yeah, Broadway Serenade final musical number, I bet you it might be on there. So yeah. Our next movie. So now we actually took a break for lunch or dinner, and then we went and
came back.
It's all Dead End, 1937. So these next 3 films were all nominated for Best Picture. These next 3 movies.
I can believe it for 2 of them.
Okay. So Dead End, 1937. So this is an older one because we went back to 39. I've heard of this movie, but then when it said who directed it, I'm like, oh, William Wyler directed this. William Wyler is one of the best filmmakers of classic Hollywood. So he directed Ben-Hur. I mean, he's a pretty fantastic
Spoiler
director.
alert for this thing. This is the movie I like the most.
Okay.
Of all, so.
Okay. Yeah. No. I guess it's good. So hey, we agreed on a movie. There we go.
I changed my mind. No.
But this is kind of an ensemble piece, and it takes place in New York. And does it take place in a day or 1 or 2 days? I mean, it's like
it seems to be taking place all on the same day because at one point he does activate 2 times in one day.
Yeah,
the day he gets murdered.
Yeah. So it's like a slice of life.
Yes,
and it starts off with these kind of kids, and they're and it's in the slums, and they're picking on each other, and
it's based
bullying
on
other
play.
people. Yeah.
But this is how you make a movie based on a play.
I think so.
The set in this is fucking mind blowing.
The set, that was my favorite thing.
It's almost it almost takes place entirely in this one set.
Yeah,
there's one scene inside of
I don't know. So when I went to Hollywood and I was looking at sound stages, I was looking and watching this movie. I'm like, what sound stage did they film this in? Because it had to have been an airport hangar because
it was big.
It was so.
There's a pool involved, even though in this the pool is the river.
Dock,
but that's fine. Whatever.
It was
they have
huge.
to jump in there on occasion.
So one of the major plot in the movie that kind of ties everything together is Humphrey Bogart plays this gangster babyface. He's coming to his old hometown because now he's a very infamous gangster, and everyone knows who he is. He's in the papers.
Yes, that is sort of the main storyline, but in actuality, there's 8 storylines.
No, there is, but I'm just saying this is the one that ties everything together.
They all kind of come together.
Yeah, this is the kind of the main one that ties it together, and then it branches off from there. He comes back and he's like, "Oh, I want to visit my mom. I want to see if my old flame is around."
Yes.
But then he runs into a guy that knows him, is played by Joel McCrea.
Yep.
And he's just like, "Oh, I remember you and your Babyface," and he's like, but it seems like they didn't really get along even back then. So
they were both in the same thug group.
Yeah.
But Babyface went full thug, and the other guy
did not.
he went straight edge. Okay.
Dave. Wow, I didn't even remember his name.
I don't know if they ever really mentioned.
No,
it.
I don't know.
Maybe they say Dave a few times.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, and then there's some love triangles going on because he's likes this one girl, but then there's Sylvia Sidney plays a sister of one of the older sister of one of the kids.
Yes.
And then they kind of have a friendship. She has a friendship with Joel McCrea.
And you find out it's mostly that they have been friends for a long time, and he knew her when she was a kid.
Yeah.
And she's falling in love with him, and he doesn't even see her that way.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. No. And that was, so it wasn't as creepy. For sure.
I mean, they still get together in the end. It's still a movie, okay? But it feels earned.
Right.
It feels earned.
But then, but then there's stuff going on, and then Humphrey Bogart has plans that I want to do some criminal stuff, and then
yes,
Joel McCrea.
Well, he kind of teaches the kids how to go full criminal.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of kids. And he's no, you got to do it this way and this way.
I think when he looks at the kids, he sees himself in those kids because that's probably what he was doing at that
same
age.
Neighborhood.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
same set he lived on.
Yeah. But then there's things that happen in the movie. So there's some conflict, and there's kind of a cool, thrilling sequence that has a conflict between Joel McCrea and Humphrey Bogart, like a chase scene.
Yeah, that's like the best action of all these 7 movies. That little gunfight was
awesome.
It was amazing,
really well done.
I'm like, holy shit!
And they're on the rooftop,
fucking a great shot.
And then, spoiler alert: Humphrey Bogart falls to his death.
And I'm like, when that happened, then I'm like, was that a dummy or they just killed a guy?
Yeah,
okay,
it looks pretty fucking good.
It looks really fucking good.
And that happens an hour of the movie. There's still half an hour after that. That happens.
Yeah.
So it's, and
that's why Bogart is not the lead.
No,
Joel is the lead of this movie. Because Bogart's just a background character who gets killed.
Bogart's really good in the movie.
Oh, he's great.
Everyone's pretty good in the movie.
He's so good in this movie. The best in this movie is Babyface's mom. When he sees her and she fucking rejects him and just yells at him and shit, I'm like, holy shit, that was really fucking heartbreaking, and I hate him. but I'm still feeling for him because his mom just fucking rejected him and said, "Get the fuck out of here, you piece of shit."
So because it's William Wyler, it's super well directed. Like you said, the sets in this movie, like, so the movie opens where you see, and it's like
the New York skyline.
Yeah, but it's made. It's like a painting.
Yeah, but it looks great.
Right, and then it pans down.
I think it has like multiple paintings because it's like fade.
It's layered. There's so many layers in it, and then it's
like video game-ish. Right, but it still looks great.
And then the camera goes down, and then it goes into the set. Yeah. And then you're like, whoa, they built this thing. And then it like pans over to the left. And then you see this entire city street complete with skyscrapers and fire escapes. And
it's the back door of some mansion where the front door is getting worked on. So everybody's coming out the back door and stuff.
Crazy. Like,
but also the director and cinematography. Yeah. They find cool angles on this same set.
Absolutely.
I'm like, holy
to make
shit.
it interesting, so it doesn't look like a play.
I'm looking through like different slats and stuff.
See, and that's what my problem was. Sense. That's what my problem was with Huckleberry Finn. William Wyler should have directed that fucking movie.
I'm gonna tell you, maybe if I saw this before Huck Finn, I would have said Huck Finn's garbage. Okay, but I saw it afterwards.
Yeah, right. But no, this is really good. Sylvia Sidney, who plays the main girl in the movie, and I'm gonna blow your mind. Do you know who she is? Like the actress? I'm gonna blow your mind. She is.
My mind's ready. Here we go.
God, what's her name? She is the old lady in Beetlejuice when they check in to the afterlife.
Oh, really?
That's Sylvia Sidney, who has got that cigarette sounding voice.
50 years later.
Yeah, and then she was also in Mars Attacks as the crazy old lady that has the Slim Whitman records and Mars Attacks.
I don't remember. I've seen Mars Attacks once, and it did not it wasn't memorable to me.
Right. Okay. But Sylvia Sidney, but so she's in that, and so I've never really seen her in an old movie, and she's great. I mean,
so that was the younger girl. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, the love interest. Girl?
Yeah,
but not the rich love interest.
No. She was the main love interest. The one that the older sister.
That's weird because there's things in this movie. He basically has a love interest who's rich. Yeah, and the only reason he likes her is because maybe at some point I'll get your money. Okay?
Yeah.
And then, she likes him because he's like a handsome dude who can like work with his hands. Okay.
So this was nominated.
One of those scummy assholes that she meets all the time.
This is nominated for Best Picture, and it was also nominated for Claire Trevor was nominated for Best Supporting Actress. She's only in one scene. She plays Francie, the one that Humphrey Bogart's old flame.
Okay,
she was nominated.
Really? Because I didn't think she was bad, but I thought his mom was.
No, right. I would have given it to her over Claire Trevor. But
I mean, he sees his old flame.
Yeah,
she's like a sex worker now or something, right?
Yeah, I like how
they don't make it super. They don't like say it, but I'm like, that's exactly what's going on here.
Well, especially the way she reacts. He's just like, "What was I supposed to do?
Yeah,
get a job?
Get a job
and I'm like,
after you?
I'm like,
fucking piece of shit."
Yeah, and obviously it was nominated for Best Art Direction, so of course.
Oh yeah,
and Best Cinematography.
Oh yeah, because it's everything in this movie. This movie is great.
So
this movie is special.
The kids are pretty good too.
Yeah, actually, they talk very like Hollywood gangster.
Yeah,
but I honestly believe in '39 they would have seen movies and they would have talked like Hollywood gangsters.
So this is interesting, and I was looking. I'm going to read it right here, but it was based off the play Dead End, and they were so popular that the Dead End kids continued to make more than 60 movies under East Side Kids, Bowery Boys.
Until 1958. I saw like one. I didn't see the movie. I mean, I saw like when I looked up this movie, I saw like there's like this thing called Dead End Kids at movies.
Yeah,
but obviously that they must have had different kids because they can't make 60 movies in like a day. Because these kids age out of that after a while.
But I think they were like older.
They do it for 20 years. Oh, okay. Wait, the Bowery Boys? That's them?
That's them. Yeah.
Holy shit! Yeah. I did not know because I mean I've seen some of that shit.
Yeah,
because some of that stuff was TV staples.
It was. The only thing for me though, I do think sometimes it gets a little melodramatic at some of the scenes.
Yeah,
the Joel McCree,
but I liked that melodramatic.
The Joel McCree, Sylvia Sidney stuff was just every time it went to like some of the love interest stuff with him and the rich lady, I'm just like, let's get back to the kids.
Well, that was weird because every time it switched scenes, I was always like
engaged in all of it.
What's going to happen in this scene? Because I'm interested in what the hell is going to happen to these people. But I care about these people.
But I really like the slice of life stuff because it doesn't really have a structure of like beginning, middle, end. It goes from scene to scene where it's just like you see two people talking and then it pans over and then the kids kind of act as a bridge to scenes.
Yes,
which is kind of neat. I
but
really like
still a storyline with the kids. Actually, that starts off with a storyline where there's the fact that it all takes place in a day is a little weird because there's this new kid,
and
then he gets fully integrated within this day, and then he commits a crime with them, and then one of them rats him out. This all takes place in a day, whatever. Okay,
and then they bully that one kid, and
and he's gonna like scar him up, and I'm like, that scene was really intense.
Yeah, it was.
He has a fucking actual knife in his hand on that kid's face. I'm like, shit, is this gonna happen? I'm like, and then I'm thinking, oh wait, 1930, that's not gonna happen. But is this gonna happen?
It might.
It might happen.
No, no. I give it a strong 3 for me.
Yeah, I might go 3.5.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
It might just mostly be because I'm looking back on these movies, and this one was, I mean, okay, nobody hates Dark Victory, okay, but I liked it more than Dark Victory. Okay,
yeah. Okay, so that's Dead End. Next. Oh no, here we go.
Let's go. Disagreements ahoy!
Oh, Gunga Din.
Oh yeah, baby.
So this is an George Stevens, he's a pretty good director too.
Let's turn off a little thing here. You see this poster?
Yeah.
Who's Gunga Din in this poster?
No one.
Well, he's not in that fucking poster because this movie is called Gunga Din. It's not about him.
No, okay? not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. He's an afterthought.
Yeah. It's about 3 assholes.
Yeah.
Well, 2 assholes and a guy who just wants to leave and they're an asshole to him. I fucking hate him.
So I kind of like the assholes in this one.
I fucking hated them.
Oh,
I just hated the fact that they treated. But that doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay.
So Gunga Din. So George Stevens is a really great director. He directed A Place in the Sun.
Really?
Yeah. He's
because I really thought he was terrible in this.
The director.
The directing was.
I think the direction's great in this movie. What?
There were times. There were a lot of times
awesome.
where it would cut to somebody's reaction, and I'm like, "Is this like in a different room?" Because this has such different lighting, and it completely pulls me out of this movie.
I really.
Every time they did a reaction, the lighting was not just different; it literally was coming from a different direction. And I'm like, "That's not the same." Learn how to make movies, you idiot.
George Stevens. Well, he actually started as a cinematographer for Lauren Hardy films.
Then he should be better.
But Gunga Din. So yeah, it's a pretty epic movie. Like as far as the scope,
I guess.
Like
yeah,
some of the shots of like. I don't know, 300 men marching in the desert from super far away. They had to get they didn't CG in those guys.
Really slow ones where they're marching, and then there's action, and they're going to speed that up because we don't want to watch the action. We want to watch assholes march for 20 minutes.
Well, that's the way a lot of action was shot. They kind of always sped it up.
Do it better.
In the stuff. You got three guys, and it's not
3
really
guys. One of them is friends with a guy who apparently is Gunga Din.
Yeah. Gunga Din is the water barrier, water carrier.
Yeah,
and he's
also
Indian as well.
Also, he's greedy.
Yeah. Oh, Gunga Din?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's greedy, and he goes AWOL. And then they all talk like he's a fucking hero at the end. You don't know a bunch of people died because he was a greedy asshole, right? You know that, right? He's just a greedy asshole. You had to go rescue him, and now he's a fucking hero. Okay, stupid.
So, yeah, there's this cult, the Thuggy cult, and you can't convince me that Spielberg wasn't a big fan of this movie because I got so many Temple of Doom vibes from this movie.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because the Thuggy cult, they got the Kali Ma,
yes.
all that stuff.
It has like a thing before the opening. It says,
based on, this is a real thing.
The people who
on actual history.
Actual history. And I'm like, I'm like, this is going to get real offensive real fast. This is going to get real offensive real fast.
But yeah, and then there's like a telegraph line, and then they're like, the 3 men are sent to go figure out how the telegraph line was cut down, and then they battle a bunch of bad guys, and then Cary Grant finds out, so the whole movie is like he wants treasure.
Yeah,
and so because he's a greedy asshole.
I want
gold, and so. Gunga Din's like, I found gold, so they go to this temple, and then
they go AWOL.
They find
AWOL.
They find the Thuggy cult, and then the other guys come to rescue him, and there's big battles and stuff. So that's the kind of the premise of the movie. So yeah, Gunga Din. So the 3 characters are Cary Grant, Vincent McLaughlin, Victor McLaughlin, and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. Douglas Fairbanks made all these great silent movies.
Yeah.
Thief of Baghdad, Marcus Zorro, and I love his movies. Really good.
Of the 3, he's the one I hated the least.
Okay.
Except for the part where, most of the reason I hated the other 2 is Douglas Fairbanks Jr., he just wants to leave.
Yeah, he's going to get married to Joan Fontaine.
I'm leaving the army. Because I'm getting married. I'm going to get married, and I want to start a business with some tea stuff.
Yeah.
And the other 2 fuckers just shame him over and over because he doesn't want to be in the army and murder people anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, What? Just fucking let him
They
leave.
just want his friend.
Fiance.
They don't want his friend to leave. They love him.
He's got a fiance.
Yeah. So they're just like
they're assholes.
But I like their kind of camaraderie and relationship. And their introduction, they're like in a brawl with the
Yeah.
And I thought that was funny.
They were throwing people out windows.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, they were throwing brown people out windows.
Right.
Okay?
Well, Cary Grant was like, that's the guy that... Because they're mad because they sold him a faulty map or whatever.
Yeah.
So Cary Grant's going after this guy, and I think it's funny when he hits the guy and he's going to throw him out the window and he's holding him by his legs. The guy's like, let that man go. And he just lets him go.
Yes.
That was funny.
I can believe that stuff. Yeah. At that point in the movie, I'm like, okay, so these are the actual characters.
These are the lovable.
Because that took like 10 minutes to get to those.
Yeah,
guys.
because there's
like a bunch of setup shit that they ignore for the next hour.
They set up the bad guys is what they do. Yeah, they set up the villains, the thuggy cult.
They set up all these Indian guys, and then I'm like, so their lead's gonna be a guy in brown face. I fucking know it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What's 1939?
I know, but they had hundreds of actual dudes from India in this movie.
Yeah.
But the only one with
the speaking ones.
Well, his son, the guy who plays his son, is another Indian guy, and he's like the second tier bad guy. He's pretty good,
dude. He's pretty good. I gotta find his name because I love him.
His death is the only death that feels like holy shit. That dude's super
him.
dead.
Is he
now.
Indian? Look at him. I don't know.
He was born in Milwaukee.
He's not. They painted him up too.
You're right. Never mind. Oh God damn it!
But
he passed better.
So his name is Abner Bieberman, and he plays the second in command of the thuggy cult.
That sucks. I legit thought he was good. But I thought he might be the one Indian guy.
He was awesome in the movie, though. I really liked him in the movie. Yeah. I thought he was really good.
So okay, is the guy?
That's Sam Jaffe as Gunga Din. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the only Indian guy in the movie.
Well, he's not Indian.
Well,
either.
He's an actual brown guy. Okay, right?
No, he's not.
What?
I don't think so. Maybe he is. I don't know.
I mean, that picture makes him look like. Oh, maybe not.
He's not.
Right. God damn it! Somebody They have actual Indian dudes. There's hundreds of them.
But you can't let him speak in a Hollywood movie.
You're a bad person, Austin Kennedy.
No, it's 1939.
I know.
No, absolutely not wrong to do.
Damn it.
And then Eduardo Ellie. He's the guru, the main guy.
He's called Guru.
I kind of liked him. I liked him too. I thought he was good. So
wow, I feel bad now that I fell for it because I thought that was an actual Indian.
Nobody.
There were numerous Indian people, but they were all background nothings.
The movie, the first action scene when they go to the telegraph, I actually really like that sequence. When they come in and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. sees the guru's right hand man, and I love how he plays off. He's like, no, my family was taken by whatever, they kidnapped my 5 kids, and then they all swarm Douglas Fairbanks Jr. and then the music goes and he starts
there's not numerous, weirdly there's like a dead period where there's like no action at all. Okay,
yeah, the middle of the movie
start off with some the 3 white guys can kick 1,200 people's asses all by themselves.
Oh my God, it was so funny because there's like 12 of them, and Douglas Fairbanks Jr. is taking them out, and then Cary Grant walks into the room and he goes, and he just starts laughing, he does this laugh thing, and then he's like, you're not doing a good job.
I can understand that at that point, you're like, oh, okay, these are the real characters.
Yeah,
I didn't know who they were until now, and all that stuff with the map is just like dialogue.
Yeah,
it's this is a bunch of shit that already happened. Okay.
And I thought, when they get the dynamite, holy shit, they're blowing fucking people up.
Oh yeah, there was at least one guy where
the guy
it's mostly insinuation, but you see an explosion.
Because the guy is holding the
that guy's dead.
No, the guy is the bad guy's holding dynamite, about to throw it at him, and Douglas Fairbanks shoots him. Boom, he explodes.
I'm assuming he shoots the dynamite.
Yeah, he totally shoots.
That guy is exploded. Yes, but also the second the bad guy's son when he dies. I'm like, holy shit! That was like the most actual death I saw in this movie.
It was the
first time I saw somebody get hit by a thing that I know killed them.
It was a great shot because the camera was following these horses, and you see the spears, almost like a POV shot. And and it's going and it goes and he's just like and then it just you see the spear and it hits him and you're like, holy shit, that was awesome.
So the thing that I thought was the most thing that kind of worked was Cary Grant was in prison for his obvious crimes. Okay, and
the elephant.
And Gunga Din uses an elephant to break him out, and that whole elephant thing, the elephant just like runs rampage into the thing, and he goes, "No, what's going on? Why don't you get me out of here?" And I'm like, that was pretty funny.
Well, they were
like, that's legit. Some
this
funny
is what
shit,
they wanted
because I like that elephant was fucking just being an asshole.
They wanted to take that elephant. They just wanted the elephant to take the bars and take the bars off, but it just runs right into the building.
Right through and goes, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get pushed." It was pretty funny. I'm like,
actually, the elephant was pretty awesome in the movie. The scene in the beginning of the movie with Victor McLaglen acting with the elephant, trying to get him to take the medicine.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
And I can see all that. It's just, I've just got this sour taste when Douglas Fairbanks wants to leave and they just start shaming him, and then at the end he literally tricks him back into signing up so he can help. Okay. And then he stays with the army, and I'm like, where's your wife? What's gonna fucking happen there?
I will say
gonna dump this.
I will say this. So
I hate you.
The one who plays the wife, Joan Fontaine, she's a fantastic actress. She won 2 years later. I think she wins Best Actress for Suspicion, Alfred Hitchcock movie. Okay. She was also in another Hitchcock movie the next year called Rebecca.
Barely in this movie.
No, she was. She's such a great actress. You literally could have had an actress.
I'm trying to think, but she's the only. What other women were in this movie?
That was it.
Was she the only woman in the movie?
But she's such a talented actress. She was wasted. You could have had anyone else. You could have had an extra in that part. Like there was
she
was a thankless role.
It's not really a character.
And it wouldn't have bothered me so much, but I know that it's Joan Fontaine, and I know she's a fantastic actor. Yeah. If it was someone else, I wouldn't have cared as much. But I'm just
if it was literally a person who you'd never seen before and you're never going to see again, you're like, whatever.
It's like putting Betty Davis in that part. It was such a waste.
Well, if Betty Davis was in it, the movie would have been Betty Davis' character, because she would have.
So no,
she would have talked like crazy.
I think this is obviously problematic. 1939, a lot of stuff going on. Yes. But I thought it was a rousing, epic, fun adventure.
Okay,
that is definitely was a huge. I mean, think about this. There's at the action movies at this point. There's just pretty much war movies and westerns. And at this time in 1939, this probably was one of the biggest action movies that anyone has ever seen.
Essentially a war movie, though,
right? But someone probably saw this and was just like, I mean, I bet you there are people that saw this movie in 1939 and said this is the best action movie I've ever seen. That's what I was watching, and I'm like, boy, so looking at that,
I'm spoiled because But here's the thing: I had literally just watched Dead End, and there's like one real action scene in that, and I'm like, that was good.
It's a lot more self-contained.
Was fucking spectacular.
That's pretty self-contained.
The action in this is just like,
I think it's good.
It's like the elephant thing, and some of it can be kind of cool. The stuff that really bothers me, because that's me. That's the way I am. I hated them shaming him. I hated that Cary Grant and Gunga both. They go AWOL to go find some gold. The other people have to save them. The entire fucking army shows up to save them. And then Gunga Din is a hero because he found a fucking bugle and blew a horn. And I'm like, you're only there because he's a fucking AWOL asshole, okay? But in the actual poem, he's more like a medic. He's like, what? Gunga is a hero, but he's actually a hero. Yeah. He's actually like saving people's lives. Yeah. In this, there are just a bunch of people dead because of him.
Yeah. That's loosely based on the poem. It's like it has really nothing to do.
Very, very loosely.
And then they even had Rudyard Kipling as a character at the end of the movie. He shows up.
Was he the guy who did the speech or something?
Yeah, at the end. And they said, "Hey, Mr. Kipling."
That's why I'm going to super pronounce it Gunga Din, because you fuckers are doing it wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. That one scene when the guru's giving his speech to his men, and he's like, "Kill for the sake of killing, kill for the sake of killing."
I mean, I'm not going to say he wasn't good in the role. Yeah, and I also you're right. It's 1939. It's not going to be brown face. There's nothing I can do about it.
No, right. And
I'm just actually kind of sadder now because I thought there wasn't as much brown face. And I'm like, every speaking brown person was a brown faced person. That is annoying. Okay.
No,
Gunga Din was I think they just did him dirty in this movie. He was a doofus.
Yeah.
He was an absolute fucking doofus. And when he gets that bugle, which apparently he found an English bugle, an English army bugle on one of the Indian guys, and I'm like, I guess they were colonies, so I guess they might have that. And then it is forever. He like climbs up this thing, and I'm like, this is taking the rest of my fucking life. Okay.
And then
he's gonna get to the top. It's a bugle. You don't have to get to the top or anything. The reason you use a bugle is they're fucking loud. Just fucking use the bugle, you idiot. But we have to do it so everybody knows it was you, so we can all talk about how much of a fucking hero you are for not getting as many people killed as you were going to get killed.
So I love that crossing the bridge sequence too. When you're crossing the bridge.
Well, the crossing the bridge was funny, and the elephant was funny in that too, because the elephant's like trying to come, and I'm like, oh my god, the elephant's gonna get on the bridge.
Grant's reaction, he does this, whoa, and I'm like,
In the big end fight, there's a whole bunch of people get on that bridge, and and then they're all surprised when they get killed, and I'm like, no, get off the bridge, you morons!
I'm really
it's a rope bridge, you're all gonna die.
I'm a big Cary Grant fan. We reviewed him in Operation Petticoat, I think, and
you're right. That bridge means Temple of Doom.
Yeah,
Temple of Doom is a remake of this movie.
Oh, there's definitely things. I mean, there are definitely things in this that are borrowed from this movie, I think. Yeah. But I really like Cary Grant in this movie, and it's weird because you usually see him in these screwball comedy roles but he's still doing his same stuff. Like he'll do his reactions and his wide-eyed thing.
But he's kind of a
movie.
piece of shit.
But because it's Cary Grant, I didn't care. Like I would say,
it bothered me so much the way they.
If we're gonna have the battle, of the piece of shit, I would take him over Jim Stewart in It's a Wonderful World, because he's literally calling you're a jerk.
Yes,
you know.
I can. Yes,
these are more lovable jerks.
He was the funniest thing in this movie, and the stuff where he was supposed to be funny.
Cary Grant,
he's legit funny. Okay.
And so the other guy, Victor McLaughlin, he's known if you watch any John Wayne movie from the 40s, he's in it. And Victor McLaughlin, he's the older guy, the older of the three friends. He's the older guy. He's always drinking, he's always drunk, he's always getting into brawls in all his movies. In fact, the movie The Quiet Man with John Wayne, the big scene at the end where he's fighting the guys, he's fighting Victor McLaughlin for 15 minutes. They're having a fist fight around town, drinking at the end of The Quiet Man. And so Victor McLaughlin is known for that. So I thought he was funny in this movie. I really liked you're going to love this. So his son became a filmmaker, Andrew McLaughlin, and he directed Bandolero.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, all the crossovers.
Yeah.
All the crazy crossovers.
Which we reviewed on the second episode.
So, okay. What are you giving this?
I'm at 3.5. I really like this movie. I think it's so fun. Fun, epic action movie.
Every time they did that reaction shot, and it was obviously a different day, or the lighting was just, I'm like, this has to be, the only reason this looks this bad is it has to be intentional, and I don't know why. Because it's just, every reaction shot was so fucking off. And so also they didn't have the balls. In the end, Cary Grant literally gets bayoneted. And I'm like, oh shit, they killed him.
No, they didn't.
This is gonna move it up? No, he's fine.
Totally fine. Boy, he's laying on
I mean, he's like laying in a bed later.
That's
as bad as he is. And I'm like, oh, so the only one that doesn't die is literally the reason this all happened. Okay? Okay. There is some stuff in this that's kind of funny. But by the end of it, I was so sick and tired of watching this movie.
Okay.
Because the action in it. Now, granted, I was like knowing, and I'm like, I'm spoiled. Sometimes you watch like an action movie, even stuff like we watched that puppet on a chain.
Yeah.
And there's that chase
boat
at the end,
chase,
and I'm like, holy shit, this holds up for right now. That thing was awesome.
Yeah.
The elephant was funny. Some of the stuff Cary Grant does was funny.
Yeah.
I hated the big guy. What's his name?
Victor McLaughlin.
I hated him every time he was on the screen. I fucking hated him because he was just a piece of garbage. And he treated his friends badly, and he would act...
He's just a big brute.
Oh, God, he was just a bully.
Douglas Fairbanks Jr. Oh, and
Douglas Fairbanks Jr. was the most likable of the bunch, and he gets completely bamboozled. We're literally... I'm not going to let you help me save our friend's life until you sign this paper. What a fucking... Victor McLaughlin is a piece of shit.
According to some stuff that I've been reading, Douglas Fairbanks Jr. and Cary Grant... originally, they swapped roles. So it was originally Cary Grant was going to be the Douglas Fairbanks Jr. character. And Douglas Fairbanks was going to be Cary Grant. So they switched before the movie started.
I'm trying to think.
So Cary Grant would have been the one getting married.
Yeah, which makes sense.
I think that's why,
because the heartthrobs of this movie. All three of them are like handsome heartthrobs.
Yeah.
So
maybe not Vincent, because they talk about how ugly he is, Victor McLaughlin.
Yeah, I'm sure. If you've met him on the street, and you're like, well, it's like the third best looking guy I've seen today. Okay.
So what was your star rating on this one? 3.5 out of 4 for me because that's just I thought it was entertaining, rollicking fun.
You had seen it before. I had never.
I have seen it before, and I liked it even better this time actually. So.
Okay, because of my predisposition to hate annoying people, but there was some amusing stuff. 1.5.
Wow! Holy cow!
I actively by the end of this, I'm like, I'm glad this movie's over because especially the end of it. The end of it really annoyed me because everything everybody did was just like, what the fuck? Who wrote this? This is all stupid. It's all dumb and annoying.
We got one more movie.
It's called Dark Victory. It's universally praised.
It is universally praised. Nominated for Best Picture. Betty Davis nominated for Best Actress. This was
right. Well, granted, any of these nominations meaningless nonsense because Gone with the Wind just fucking said, I'm going to win everything.
Right. Gunga Din was nominated for Best Picture too. So Betty Davis. This was at this point. So I think from 1938, 39, 40, 41, and 42, she was nominated for Best Actress 5 years in a row.
But she didn't win. She won like once.
She won in 1935 for Dangerous. So and for a movie
she did. Or before all this.
Okay. But so yeah.
I had the only other time I had seen a movie of hers was Baby Jane.
Whatever happened to it? She was nominated for that too.
She's fucking amazing in that.
Yeah. Great.
She's better in that than I think she is in this, and she's really good in this. Yeah. But she's acting in this. Yeah. Is the whole problem? She's good in this, but every time she's on, like, she's fucking acting. It's like it's really hard to not go like. No, she's good at it, but she's very much acting.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. So Dark Victory, melodrama.
Yeah,
super melodramatic.
Super melodramatic. This movie is what, an hour and it's
44 minutes.
It's an hour and 44 minutes. 3 movies worth of shit happens in this movie. It's like, oh boy, maybe this is the 7th movie. But halfway through this movie, I'm like, it's strange, but I wish this movie was longer because sometimes she just turns on a fucking dime. Okay, her character is like, what happened? Now she's fine with it? What just happened?
Yeah. Okay, so Betty Davis plays Judy, who is a socialite. She doesn't have to work. She's in money. She's in money. Your family's in money.
She's super rich. She's got fucking servants.
And she
although here's the thing: of all the movies we've seen where there's a rich person, you're supposed to feel bad for him. Okay, I literally feel bad for her.
Yeah.
So she's not having a good time. The least worse. Okay?
Yeah. So
other people get to live through the movie.
So she likes riding horses. She likes fast cars. She likes to drink. She likes to smoke. And
did you? Okay, but you had never seen this.
No.
How much did you know about this movie?
Nothing.
I didn't know what it was about.
No, I didn't know either.
I didn't know anything. Going in the beginning, it's called Dark Victory. She gets on a horse, and I'm like, is that horse's name Dark Victory? I don't know. Is this movie about a horse? Yeah. I don't know.
I didn't know what was going on. And it doesn't take that long. About 9 minutes into the movie, she has 2 accidents. So she has an accident where she falls, like she's seeing double.
It's like double vision on the horse.
Then on the horse, and she crashes with the horse. Then she's like, I'm okay, and then falls down a flight of stairs.
Yeah, I wasn't okay when they showed her on the horse. I was like, they did a good job because I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's not Betty Davis,
right?
But it could have been Betty Davis.
No, I agree. Okay? There was some shots. Well, they sped it up too, so maybe it could have been her, and they sped up some. But of the
also,
shots,
there's that might be Betty Davis. I'm almost positive it's not because at one point she falls over and a horse lands on her. And I don't think they're going to let that happen to Betty Davis.
I want to say maybe a couple of those shots are
she might have been. I mean, I guess it could have been.
The power of magic movies.
They don't really show the horse falling on her. They show the aftermath of the horse being lying on her.
Right. She goes and she meets this doctor, Frederick Steele, played by George Brent, and they discover that she's kind of got like a tumor. Yeah. Right. And
okay. Just to mention, my little brother died from a brain tumor. Oh. So when that happened in the movie, I'm like, I have to try to dispatch my brain to some degree to rank this movie in any way and not just go like wrong with
everything.
Which by the end of it, it's like, okay, that's just wrong. That's not what brain tumors work. That's just dumb. Okay. But also, I'm like, we're watching this for Betty Davis.
Right. And so, and then she has a really good relationship with her assistant, secretary, whatever. Yeah,
they're like best. She just calls her a best friend. I don't know who she is. Best friend. And another rich lady.
And played by Geraldine Fitzgerald. Who is pretty good actually in the movie.
She's pretty good. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. And we're like 10 minutes in, and I'm like, oh, there's Ronald Reagan. I didn't know he was in this movie. I didn't know he was in it. Ronald Reagan's in this movie.
He was just someone that just kind of leashed around the family.
Was he? I thought he was her brother. But I guess not. No, he's got a different last name.
He was like a friend.
He was just a friend. He was a drunk friend.
Yeah. And he was
very drunk friend.
He's fine in the movie.
He barely has anything.
No,
he just has to be drunk and then periodically say words.
But the main focus is the relationship between Betty Davis and Frederick Steele, the doctor. Because the doctor was like, he's all ready to, like, I'm going to quit being a brain surgeon. I'm not doing it anymore.
Yes.
Going to Vermont. But then he meets Betty Davis and is like, yeah, I'm going to try to help. And then finds out that after surgery, still going to die. Has a year to live. And you know that she's going to die real quick because she's going to go blind right before she dies.
Well, they don't really mention that stuff until after the surgery.
Right.
They
That's
say,
what I mean. Yeah.
oh, she still has it. But we all know, here's the thing.
Oh.
She's going to...
They don't tell her.
She has like a year, and then like 2 hours before she dies, she's going to go blind and go crazy.
Right.
And I'm like, what? Like 2 hours before? That's not a brain... The brain tumor explode? What the hell happened? I don't understand. But whatever. It's mostly at that point we know, and she doesn't, because... Also,
I don't think that's legal. I don't think you can not tell.
The doctor's like, don't tell her. Don't tell her.
We want her to be happy.
And also, I'm sitting there like, that doctor should be fucking kicked out of doctors. He's fucking terrible at being a doctor.
Right.
Okay.
But then they fall in love with each other as well.
Yes. And then right after that, she finds out.
Right. And then she leaves him.
This is where prognosis negative comes from.
Oh, right.
Holy shit, did they ever start saying the words prognosis negative? Over and over and over and over. And I'm on prognosis. And she comes out of the room and she's like talking to the nurse.
What does prognosis mean?
What does prognosis mean? What does negative mean? I'm like, you know what negative means, you moron. Maybe you don't know what prognosis means, but you know what negative means, okay? You fucking idiot.
You know, she forgives them, and then they fall in love, and they get married or whatever. And then
there's so
they
much
have 2 dogs.
So much turning on a dime in this movie.
It is
because when here's
should have
the
been a mini series.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It was so quick
in the beginning of it.
Oh,
I'm like, okay,
I didn't know what the fuck was happening.
I have to get used to the acting in this movie, okay? Because Betty Davis has her own style, at least at this point, and it is Atlantic dialect to the extreme, and then also just saying stuff, okay? I'm gonna be a horrible bitch over and over, over and over. I'm a real hoity-toity monster.
So,
and then, but then she goes to the doctor, and that thing where he goes like Sherlock Holmesian, and he's like the moment he sees her, he's like, I have to fucking work on this one, because she's got a problem. And then he's like doing stuff, and it's like, I think this movie might be really good. I mean, he goes first Sherlock Holmes. It kind of gets ruined in the end. Yeah, because he doesn't have any of that Sherlock Holmes power at the end of the movie.
No,
and I'm like, okay, but I'm like, maybe he must know.
So
he must know at the end that he's leaving. Okay?
Right. So, so the movie starts. Like the first 10 minutes of the movie or 5 minutes of the movie, I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Because I have no idea.
It's so fast.
It's so fast.
It happens. She wakes up. And she starts just talking, and then characters are talking,
blah, 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 blah,
and then goes outside, and then Humphrey Bogart shows up and gets on a speeding car, and they're driving.
I think you actually see Humphrey Bogart before you see anybody else in this movie.
Yeah.
It opens with Humphrey Bogart, and I'm like, I thought this was, am I confused? I thought this was a Betty Davis movie. How Humphrey Bogart starts this movie.
But there's a scene where she's driving, and the screen projection background is
oh my god, her fake driving is the worst fake driving in the history of movies.
Then Humphrey Bogart
like, is this Black Dynamite? What the fuck's happening in this movie?
But then they pass Humphrey Bogart, and Humphrey Bogart is like the horse trainer or whatever. And he hops on the car as it's driving.
Which is a completely separate scene, and is legit.
And then if you watch the background when he's on there,
it's so fucking hokey.
He's driving, but the thing is, it's like crazy driving, and he should be hanging on for his life.
Oh god,
he's just
she's zipping along at 100 miles per hour, and he's just like holding a conversation while sitting on the side, and I'm like, you're all dead. This is fucking terrifying.
I couldn't take any of that seriously.
No, but luckily it never happens again.
And
I was like, this is going to happen a bunch, and it's going to be hilarious every time, and I'm only going to like this movie because of how fucking hilarious it is.
But then she gets on the horse, and then boom, she falls, and I'm just like, all this stuff happens in 9 minutes, and I'm like, I wish that would have happened a half an hour into the movie, because at that point, I wasn't caring, because I didn't know about any of the characters.
Correct.
I didn't care.
But like I said,
it happened
this
so
movie
quick.
is under 2 hours, and 5 hours worth of shit has to happen in this movie.
Yes.
Because she gets sick. Okay?
Yeah.
She has 2 accidents in the span of like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
She gets diagnosed in the next 10 minutes.
But the diagnosis scene was like 15 minutes long, though.
She has a brain surgery off scene.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have to like figure out, the surgery already happened. They do not make that clear for a while.
No, not at all. No.
But you're like, I guess the surgery already happened. And she like mentions her hair, and you go, we cut like a couple inches off, but she wears like a hat, so you can fucking tell. And I'm like, I guess she had brain surgery. Totally realistic. They don't shave your head just for the hell of it. Because it's a fucking brain surgery. Just wear a wig from now on, lady. That's what you're fucking stuck with. Okay?
I haven't seen Betty Davis in that many movies, but I've seen her in probably like maybe half a dozen. And no, I've seen her in Petrified Forest with Humphrey Bogart in 1936. I was All This and Heaven 2, which I think is really good. So I think she's a great actress.
She's weirdly a version of amazing in this, but also I think she's really good in a movie that actually in the long run I'm like, I don't think this movie's really that good. She's really good in it.
So I actually didn't like the movie.
Okay.
And a lot of it had to do with, so I think it's a well put together, as far as just, it looks good. It's a good looking movie. It's Edmund Golding directed
except for that back stuff.
No, right. But like
most of that driving scene, which is hilariously not good.
But the direction is actually for the most part pretty good. Betty Davis. Now I've seen her in movies, and you know if you haven't seen her in this much, you would see this and be like, oh, this is just her style. She just overacts, and she's just actually I've seen her in movies where she puts in a sustained performance.
Like I said, I've seen Baby Jane, and in that she's terrifying because she's the bad guy in that movie.
But
she's
even
fucking terrifying.
But even a year later, she's a lot more subdued in the movie All This in Heaven 2. And but this movie, she's just overdoes it, and I think it was half her character and half her performance, where she is just talking about nothing. She's like, oh, and she's just so over eager on everything. Yeah. And I think her character's just written that way, but she also amps it up to like 15 out of 10. Yeah. And it's just like, oh, look at this over here. Yeah. And
I think a lot of it is we have to get this movie made, and you're going to have to do all these things, and we can't make this scene take 20 minutes. We're going to do this 20-minute scene in 5 minutes. Go.
Everybody in this movie talks super fucking fast.
Oh, super fast.
And
super fast.
But the thing is, so I've seen movies. So there's a movie called.
It took me 10 minutes, like I said, to get used to it. And I'm like, okay, I just have to fully concentrate.
So in
or I'm going to miss something.
1940, there's a movie called His Girl Friday, and I read somewhere that has one of the fastest dialogue in the movie.
Yeah,
that's a screwball comedy.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah,
I don't mind fast dialogue in a screwball comedy. I feel like in a drama about a brain tumor, I don't feel like they should be talking like in a screwball comedy.
No,
I think they needed to slow. For me. For my money, I think it should have been slowed down. It's just way too fast, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? I was really confused. Half the movie, what was happening?
I think that it's literally the second half of this movie. If somebody, because here's the thing, when they mentioned brain surgery in 1939, I'm like, well, that's fucking useless garbage. It's 1939. Nobody did brain surgery in 1939. That was fucking dumb. Okay?
Right.
So they literally could have skipped to a point where the doctor finds out she only has a year to live.
Yeah.
Okay. But they're going to say, well, we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
That's fine. They could skip to like the halfway point of this movie after the post surgery and stuff like that. But granted, the doctor then has to tell her. Okay.
Yeah.
So when the doctor there's like a half hour of this movie where the doctor and her friend know this secret.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they aren't telling. And at this point also, she's in love with him. And I also get this feelings like, he's willing to marry her because he knows, I'll just do this to make her happy because she'll be dead soon. Okay.
I kept waiting for the doctor and a friend to have an affair.
I expected it too.
I was kind of waiting.
And here's the thing. Actually, here's the strongest part of this movie.
Yeah.
Right at the end.
Yeah.
When she actually does the blind thing. Yeah. Okay. And then she's trying to keep that secret from the doctor. I'm like, okay, the doctor fucking knows. The doctor's fucking Sherlock Holmes doctor. Okay?
Yeah.
He knows immediately.
Yeah.
He has to know.
Yeah.
And she's trying to talk him to go on this trip without her.
Yeah.
And so he does it. And I'm like, I think it's merely because he knows it's happening. And he's like, oh, what am I going to do? I can't do anything about it. I'll just fucking leave.
When he tells his friend to leave and she just runs out on the road.
And stuff like that. Yeah. Here's the thing. The thing that actually got me the most in this movie was literally right at the end where she gets in the bed.
Yeah.
And then it's like slowly fades and it just says the end. We're never going to know what's going to happen at the end. What happens to anybody else? Because fuck them. The main character's dead. Who gives a shit about the world? And I'm like, that's the way it should be in all these fucking movies. Yeah. Other movies will then say, and then we're going to show reactions of other people to this.
And then they'll have the funeral.
Like, fuck you. She's dead. She doesn't care anymore.
Yeah. No, that last shot when she lays down and then they cover her up and then it just does that fade out of her close up of her face. Really good.
Yeah,
like,
and
that's a great shot.
She's talking slower for like the last half hour.
Yeah.
When they're married and they're living in the woods, it's much more like, you know something? The rest of this movie was a little bit weird. But this part of the movie, where they are just basically living in denial.
Yeah.
this is the best part of this fucking movie.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the reason she got nominated. It has nothing to do with the part where she was talking like a fucking salesman. Okay?
Right. Yeah, so I was kind of let down and surprised that I didn't like the movie. I was kind of like, oh, because I've heard really good things about it. Really good melodrama. And I like a good melodrama. Like a movie that, like I said, I keep going back to it, but All This in Heaven 2 is a great melodrama that was after this movie, and I think it's really well done. And I actually, as far as melodrama, I know you didn't like it, but I like Mayerling better than this. I like Mayerling as a melodrama.
Okay, I'm actually going to say, very possibly, I like the acting in Mayerling better than this, except for the last half hour. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Where they're all living in denial. And they all know this is going to happen.
Yeah.
But but that first hour of this movie, and I'm like, holy shit, she just like changes her mind mid-scene like 12 times. Okay? Because when
that's a character. That's her character.
Yeah, you're right. But
it's like I said, it's 50-50. It's like her performance, because she oversells her performance, I think, a little bit. And Betty Davis is great, and she looks great. She's super beautiful in the movie.
Oh yeah. She's amazing.
She reminds me of, like, her look, like she looks like Susan Sarandon a little bit. When I was watching, because she kind of has the same kind of like bags under her eyes. Like
this
a little
is
bit,
the
like,
one of the weird black and white movie things. Because at one point, when she meets the doctor and he's like looking at her eyes to see the stuff, she brings up, "I hear they're a really good color," and I'm like, "Black and white movie, shut the fuck up." Okay, I can't see your fucking color of your eyes. You talk about how good they but you have Betty Davis eyes, sure.
Betty Davis.
Don't talk about the fucking color of your eyes. I have no idea what the color of your eyes are. Yeah. Okay. But whatever. I mean, people at that point were like, almost all movies are black and white. Okay, so if we're gonna bring up color, we're just gonna fucking.
Except for Gone with the Wind that came out this year was color.
Well, yeah. Well,
Wizard of
Gone
Oz.
with the Wizard of Oz was color. I mean, a few years earlier, the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was color.
Oh yeah, so, and then Gulliver's Travels this year.
So there's plenty of color movies.
Yeah,
none of the 7 we watched.
No.
Sure.
So I'm actually, I might surprise you. I'm a 1.5 on it, to be honest. I don't think it'll go that low.
Here's the problem. Here's my thing.
Yeah.
I knew the moment she got diagnosed. They never actually say the word tumor. No. But they say the medical term for it.
What is it? Glioma?
Yeah, something like that. And I'm like, oh, she got a fucking brain tumor?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, how do I watch this movie?
Yeah.
I knew. I'm like, holy shit. I did not know about a brain tumor in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
How do I watch and judge this movie? I literally have to figure out a way to watch this where I don't just like start crying every 20 minutes.
Right.
And luckily, the movie in it, they're all so fucking weird. It's like, okay, I'm not going to cry because nothing feels real. And then the last half hour, I'm like,
it was really sad.
I lived for like 3 years where it was basically, we all just lived in denial. And because we all knew he was going to die.
That's terrible.
But, and so I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is fucking miserable. But also, it's obviously the best part of this fucking movie.
Yeah, the last shot.
So it's weirdly, even though I do know about the rest of the movie, and it's still in my head, the weird stuff where she would literally be like, "No, I'm not going to do that," and then she would sit down and just fucking do it, and it would be like, she'd be perfectly fine. And I'm like, "What the fuck? She's a psycho. She's weird." Okay, but then I'm like, "Oh, she has a brain tumor. Maybe that turned her into a psycho. I don't know." So I honestly am going to have to say, I'm going to have to cheat and just say I can't rate this movie.
Oh, that's fine.
I can't rate this one.
No, that's fine. No,
I'm literally sorry.
No, that's okay. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, buddy.
I'm having real crooked issues just thinking about this movie. Fuck you, Betty Davis, and your shitty weird acting.
No, you don't have to rate it. But I give it a 1.5. So
God damn it,
it's a beautiful movie.
I knew we were going to talk about this movie, and I'm like, whatever, let's talk about it. I'm like, oh no, I can't talk about this fucking movie. I honestly have no way. I literally if I saw this movie 15 years ago, I probably could have rated it. But I'm like, I have no fucking. I can't even think.
Right.
I have no idea how to think about this movie. I did not expect a fucking brain tumor movie in the middle of 7 fucking movie. God damn you. God damn you, Austin Kennedy.
That's me. No. So that's Dark Victory. Last movie. So best movie that we watched.
Oh, it was Dead End.
Dead End?
Even, I'm guaranteeing, I would have given Dead End a higher rating than this if I could rate this. Just because it's a better acted,
No, I get it.
A better shot movie.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this thing is not badly shot. But I'll tell you, that driving scene is so fucking terrible. I'm like, oh my God, this fucking, holy shit. Oh my God. I think that all happens before the brain tumor shit. So I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? I hope this happens more because this is fucking entertaining. Oh no. So this movie's not entertaining at all.
So you're gonna hate me because Gunga Din's my favorite of the movie.
Oh, that's
so
fine.
that's
I already hated you, Austin.
But
fine.
But I will say, yeah, Dead End. I highly recommend Dead End. And I also
Dead End is just on YouTube.
Yeah,
for fucking free. Just watch
Dead End is great.
Okay?
And then I did like MAYERLING and Broadway Serenade too. Oh, the end sequence of Broadway Serenade.
Yes.
Definitely recommend that.
I would. If that's on YouTube, watch your 10 minutes of that and then rewatch it and then watch it again. You're like,
right.
How can this be? And then also go like, the rest of the movie's nothing like this. Okay? Granted, she sings like that. She only sings like literally 2 words in that whole fucking Broadway Serenade. It's really weird. She's the star of this fucking play? Whatever. Okay? She's saying 2 words over and over.
Best?
Also, Lonely Heart? I don't understand it. What's the story of this fucking play? Okay, well, whatever. Okay?
What's the best performance of the movie? This is a tough one.
No, the best performance is his mother in Dead End.
Oh, for supporting.
Yeah, best supporting. Best
lead?
Is there a lead in Dead End? I don't know. Best lead.
It's really hard because I can't think of
lead.
I'm probably.
It might be the last half hour of Dark Victory. It might. Yeah. It's just that the first hour of it is so weird, and she's not bad. Like I said, 10 minutes in, I'm like, I have to get used to this weird thing that's happening in front of me, and get past the fact that I suspect they have said we have to get to a point in this movie so that the plot can start.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go 10 minutes. Fast forward, baby.
Yeah.
Zoom. 12 things have to happen.
Three. For me, I might give it to Charles Boyer for MAYERLING. I really liked him. I really liked him in the movie. I thought he was really good.
Believe that.
For lead. For supporting, I'm going to give it to Bogart for Dead End.
I've given it to Bogart's mother in Dead End.
Yeah.
Supporting.
I guess I would.
Bogart's not. Bogart's great. Actually, I might actually give it to Bogart as
lead.
Because
he's
he's as much a lead as anybody in that movie.
I guess
so.
I mean? Yeah, I guess lead. If we're doing that way, I would give it to Bogart.
Yeah, everybody really in that movie is the people who
is really good. Yeah,
we never brought up Bogart's buddy.
Yeah, he was good too.
He was good.
Another person we didn't bring up.
He was obviously a person who did not grow up there, and he's like, "What the fuck?"
Also, in Dead End, there's a character actor that I have to talk about because I'm a big film geek, so I notice character actors. But there's the guy who played the doorman is Ward Bond, and he's the doorman that kind of
he's good.
He's great, but he's in
a
lot of John Wayne movies. But yeah, Ward Bond's
the weird thing about Dead End. I don't think there's a bad role. There's a bad acting role. Even the kids. I think everybody is just good in this movie.
So the award. So we'll make up an award for this one. So best ensemble is Dead End, for sure.
Yes,
it's like best ensemble.
I mean, best ensemble between all the movies we ever watched, it's gonna be between this and Lady Killers. Okay.
Oh my God.
Lady Killers is another ensemble. You know what I mean?
Good.
That's another ensemble movie. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. So so that's our 7 movies, 1939.
Yay! I only cry a little bit in the end, Austin. You asshole.
That's all right. It's okay to cry. I cry all the time. All right. Next is we're doing June 12th. We did June 11th, and now we're going to June 12th, 1984.
Yeah, it's mildly later. Okay. It's June 12th,
later. June 12th, 1984 is the next time we'll go back in time.
45 years later. Jesus Christ.
We're
really time travelers.
We're jumping around.
But then the one after that is just a little bit. It's
66, 53,
right. Yeah, we're going all over the place.
But yeah, our next is going to be June 12th, 1984. So join us for that one. So until next time, I'm Austin Kennedy.
I'm Tim Kaiser.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, I already commented that you did it right. Okay.